does it end? All
All
the
the
enjoyment.
enjoyment.
I'm
I'm
sad
sad again.
again. Don't tell my
Tell my
boy.
boy. Actually, go tell him post haste right fucking
Tell
now.
him, make him feel bad. And
Oh, he's
then
gonna. Oh,
uh,
he's gonna.
we'll see if he does because he keeps saying he's
Listen.
going to before he makes out with Daniella.
I'm gonna feel so bad. Grabs the back of her head and kisses her with all of his might.
Exactly. I can't.
Listen.
Aaron, you're going to
Welcome.
hell.
Honestly, yeah.
No, he's
Fuck
going to
all of
hell.
them.
No, this is like, okay, this is the point where Love Island has taken a turn that I'm mad.
I'm
Eh,
so upset. Brandon, after episode 19, I felt sick to my stomach.
No,
I felt
like,
like, not that I got cheated on, but I was like, oh my gosh,
it was too much.
you
And
can
I don't,
have such high hopes for people. And they
I
let you down
know.
each
I,
time.
I wonder if Casa Amor is always like this. I know it's always supposed to be like a test, and I know it's been messy before, but this just feels like when I hear people talk about it too, they're like I just listened to some podcast. She's speaking with Emily Hanks, and she was talking about Casa Amor, and she was like, "This is setting up to be one of the best Love Island seasons," and I'm like, "Oh shit, I guess this
Well,
may be a little crazier."
yeah, I was just so I was thinking about Love Island so much. I went back and watched the aftermath of season five's Casa Amor because
Oh,
Leo was on After Sun talking about how he
oh
made a
yeah,
mess. So I was like, let me see how this really went down. No, it's crazy, but like the guys in season five, like half of them were behaving themselves, half of them weren't. You know?
mm-hmm.
So yeah, these men are feral. Oh
No,
my
these
gosh, they're
men.
fucking feral.
It's crazy because the two that are in the most committed relationships are the ones
Yes.
acting up most.
Literally,
And it's
like
insane.
it's so crazy. And oh my gosh, like I want to give Kordell the benefit of the doubt, but like honestly, fuck him.
I can't. I want to as well, but I just can't. I'm stressed.
Cordell, you were about to be president of the United States, and
You
now you
were.
can kick rocks with no socks. We were about to be like Cordell for president. Remember, we said protect him at all costs.
Yes, we were
Fuck
like, oh,
it. I hope
sweet
Serena comes for
Cordell.
your neck.
I can't believe Serena left him
Mm.
in a dancing game. That poor angel.
No, no,
Cut to
it's
Casa
crazy.
Amor.
We got a lot to get into, Brandon.
We
But
do.
welcome back to the shade of it all.
Oh, yes. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Shade of It All. I'm Brandon.
I'm Magdala and we're upset.
We're
We got a lot
mad.
to talk about today.
Not only are we shady, but we're feeling upset. We're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
going over Love Island season 6, episodes 18 through 20.
Mm-hmm.
And Casa Amor has entered the chat, and
It
it's wild.
has. It's wild. So we're gonna start with 18. If you don't want to listen to 18, it seemed like such a long time ago. This was when everybody was in the villa still. Feel free to skip, use the chapters to skip to episode 19. I've labeled them pretty good so that you see like the topic, but when there's a new episode, I put that first. So feel free to skip ahead, but we're gonna start with 18 and then we'll get into 19 and 20.
Yes, 18 was a pretty normal episode. We're gonna be going through it, and then when it comes to Casa Amor, we're gonna probably rant, and
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
it'll be
It's gonna
fun.
be a good time. But what even happened to episode 18?
Connor left.
Connor did just leave. Oh, the
Mm-hmm.
vote was on this episode. I forgot that even
Mm-hmm.
happened.
Connor left. He had a soliloquy. They hung up his crusty shorts.
Oh
Barely
yes.
anybody was upset about it, except
Yeah.
for Aaron.
Aaron, well, he's upset about everything, but
Mm-hmm.
he's well, he cries for his bros, but
If he doesn't shed a tear for Kaylor, that will speak volumes. But anyway, I digress.
I want her to rip his cartilage earring out. But Miguel and Leah are rejoicing. They're happy that Leah chose
Mm-hmm.
him, and he's just really into her. Says she's like beautiful, and she's permanently
Mm-hmm.
blushing when she's near him, and they make out. They're kind of cute together.
They kind of are like in a toxic way because we know that Leah kind of likes crazy toxic men.
Yeah.
So he fits her type. He compliments her a lot. He knows exactly what to say. And she likes that it's not too serious. Like she knows like they both know what's up.
Yeah,
So
and that kind of goes into Casa Amor as well, which we'll get
yeah,
more into later, but she has
yeah,
realistic expectations, which is
very.
nice.
Yeah.
Um, Janae and Kenny talk about sleeping in the same bed. She asked
Hmm.
his body count and he says 40 something. And then, which I guess was a callback to that one game that happened earlier in the season, which feels like eight
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
And then, but they seem to be vibing as well
Yeah.
overall. I like them together. They're fine.
Yeah, she's excited to get to know him. He says he's not driven by sex, which is good. He's a little mature, so
Yeah.
and that tracks. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
he's not terrible yet. So that's
Yeah.
good. Um, Rob and Cassidy talk, and I was just like, this just feels
Bro.
dry.
I was like, you guys should never talk again.
No, they should never talk again. They just talk about like skydiving, and he like says like he invites her to some trip like with Connor and Aaron to Vietnam.
Oh, I thought they said Afghanistan. That sounds more like it, Vietnam.
I
Yeah.
think, and then but then she's like, "Oh, we'll see," and he's like, "Yeah, we'll see how this goes." And then she just walks away, and I'm like, "This
I feel
is
like he was
terrible."
struggling to find something to talk about with her, and he was trying to like just make conversation, but it was weird for both of them. And then like I think later she talks about just like how he's like kind of hard, he's like a challenge to like talk to. He's just like so different. And I'm like, I don't think that's it. I think that when Rob likes you, he wants to talk to you. And then when he doesn't like you, he doesn't want to talk to you.
He's not that complicated. He's
Mm-mm.
actually quite simple-minded. And he doesn't say a lot. And then when he does say a lot, it's stupid.
Hmm.
So, but you know, it is what it is. I can't stop looking at myself because I'm like so tan with this filter, but I don't want to take it
Hmm.
off because I love it. I'm
You
manifesting
look
a
great.
tan.
You look
Thank you.
great.
I'm using a, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm using a filter on Zoom because the webcam I use only has like one ring light setting and it completely washes me out to where I look like Casper. So I'm like, let me add a tan. And it's a little much, but we live.
We live.
Um, anyways, Kendall Nicole chat. He's excited she chose him, and she says after her last talk with Miguel, she questioned his intentions and says the comfortability with Kendall is special. Which facts, we've been saying Miguel ain't here for like really
Love.
anything substantial. Love. Like he's not here for that.
Yep, that's pretty much it. They like each other. They're
Yeah.
happy.
I like them together.
Yeah.
I don't like Kendall, but we'll also get into that more.
You also hate Kenny, but it's fine.
Kenny, I don't like him. It's not hate anymore. It's just a simple
Mm, meh.
meh. I'm kind of just like, all right. Um,
Oh, this is so stupid. Nigel and Liv talk. And I was like, I
oh
guess you're never
yeah.
gonna talk again.
No, because he's all like, oh, I feel like you're regretting your decision. And he feels bad Connor was sent home, but doesn't want her to feel like she made the wrong decision. And then she's like annoyed with him because she feels like he's nitpicking. Because during the recoupling, she was very much like, oh my gosh, I hate this, da 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 da. But it was mostly just
Yeah.
because like she was sending her friend Connor home. It wasn't really anything against Nigel.
Yeah, like she contemplated choosing Connor just so that he could stay. And
Hmm.
so she was conflicted, which is natural. Connor's been there for a decent amount of time. I think probably more 2 weeks or more. So she really got to know him.
Yeah, they
Because
came at
Liv
the end
came
of
in like,
episode one.
so
Remember?
Connor, when did Liv come in?
She came in like the middle of episode one. Remember episode one was like an hour and a
Oh,
half.
yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
like
Okay, that makes
randomly
sense.
came in during the day and
Yeah,
then they came. I remember it was at the very end of the first one as Ariana like high fived them on the way in. It was Connor and Hakeem.
got it.
And then, I mean, they're both gone now. So, but
Yeah,
two people left quicker and broke that
right.
thing at the end of this episode.
So far, Liv is the luckiest bombshell, and she's kind of not a bombshell because she's been there for so long. Like, she's had more time with everybody. But
Yeah, I
yeah, she didn't
forget
want to
she's
see
a
Connor go
bombshell.
home. Mm-hmm.
She didn't. And like, look, I get Nigel maybe feeling like, oh, that sucks. The person that picked me didn't seem like they wanted to. But it was just weird how he kind of came at her about it. Like that's just something you kind of say like maybe to your friends, like, and then they'll like
Yeah.
talk you down.
Or you say it once and, once you hear the person's perspective, you kind of let it go. But he was kind of like politely arguing with her. She's
Yeah.
like, I just sent my friend home. And he's like, but it's your body language. And she's like, well, I'm just upset because of my friend. It's not about you. Sorry for making you feel bad. And he's like, I feel like we're not understanding each other. And it's like, I feel like she's giving you a perfect explanation and you're just not listening.
She is. And that's her body
Yes.
language with everyone. Liv is intense, and that's just her.
Yeah. And but like Liv has, I mean, she didn't get mad and storm off. I feel like
She
because he
didn't.
was being very respectful and patient or whatever, but you could see she was annoyed by the chat. It didn't sit well with her, and it didn't sit well with him either. He looks like stressed for the rest of the evening.
He was very worried, and she was like,
Yeah.
I fucking hate you now.
Yeah.
Nigel tells Cordell that Liv is being cold to her, and Cordell reassures him that if she didn't want to be with him, she wouldn't have chosen him. Cordell really came through with some solid, emotionally mature advice and
Yeah.
words of wisdom.
He knew what
Uh,
it was.
yeah, he started off this trio of episodes good, that Cordell.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then Liv is talking to the girls and Rob can like hear and they're all
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Did he really do that? Oh my gosh." And Rob was like, "Liv, if you had picked me, I would have been happy," or something like
If
that.
you were how you are now in the beginning, it would have been a different story. And I'm
What do you
like,
think that means?
I don't know. I guess, I wonder. I mean, it's stupid. It's like she's been there longer, so you gotten to know her more. So obviously she's gonna seem different now than she was then. So maybe it's coded language for I got to know you and like I like you better now. But he's stupid. I hate him.
He is stupid. I I thought, okay, we didn't talk about this last episode, but there was a moment where Liv is kind of just chilling by the pool and all the guys are checking her out. Like
Oh
Connor
yeah.
is like, "Ooh, Olivia." And then Aaron and Rob are talking about her like, "Oh my gosh, she's so like Olivia looks or Liv looks good today." And Rob was like, "Yeah, when she wears those like thongy black things or whatever, I really
Oh
like
yeah,
it."
he
So
did
like
say that.
so they've been checking Liv out. And so I was like, okay, maybe feelings changed over time. But I saw it on TikTok because everybody was talking about Love Island this week. Like I couldn't
Oh
get away
yeah.
from it.
No.
Somebody was like, Rob likes Liv more now that he like took her side and stuck up with her because of
That
the Leah
too.
stuff. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised because she did kind of like jump over to the guy's side really quick.
She
And
did.
Rob seems like a person who's like, you support me, I like you, you know?
Yeah,
And they've probably been flirting on this side too, but yeah, I mean, it's like you didn't give her the time of day when she first came in and chose you. You didn't really like give it a chance. You
you
kept
didn't.
like sneaking off with Leah.
Hmm.
Maybe he likes Leah more. I don't know. But he's now really liking Liv.
Rob, maybe he is complicated. He's just
I
dumb.
think that he is someone who likes his ego stroked. So when you're on his
Yeah,
side or whatever, it makes him feel good about himself and he wants to be like around you more, you know?
yeah, he
And then I
likes those
also
that don't
think,
challenge him.
yes, definitely. And I also think that he's very like sexually motivated.
Oh
So
yeah,
that drives a lot of his decision making. Like, I really had a great connection with you, but that girl's hot. And
right.
Cassidy's cool, but Liv looks nice in her black thong, right? Like that's just kind of how he is. A little
It
shallow, not
is.
pretty shallow. It's very straightforward.
Yeah, he's very shallow.
Yeah.
And as far as with Liv kind of jumping to the guy side, something funny that I've seen like on Twitter and stuff is after Casa Amor, they're expecting Liv to really like go after the guys, in particular Cordell and Aaron maybe, if they
Oh,
bring
like,
back like the people.
oh yeah, Liv stands on business. Like if you
She
disrespect
does.
her or someone she cares about, it's a wrap.
It is. So
So
we're
yeah.
excited for that. Hopefully that
Mm-hmm.
happens.
I'm
Um,
sure it will.
My next notes are for the next day. Did anything else happen at night of note?
Nothing, but I just noted, like, I have never seen the couples stronger. Leah and Miguel are vibing. Kendall and Nicole are vibing. Kaylor and Aaron are vibing. Serena, Kenny, like everybody except for Rob and Casty and Liv and Nigel are doing pretty well. And there's so that's 4 out of 12 that are not doing so great. So 8 of them are I've we've never seen them stronger, on the same page. Communication is flowing
It's perfect time to
for
throw a
Casa
wrench in it
Amor.
all for Casa Amor. Um, it's the next day, and Liv says she went to bed really upset because of her
Yeah.
argument with Nigel. But they chat, and he does own up to being selfish in the moment and apologizes. And
Yeah.
she says his feelings are valid, and she just appreciates, honesty and stuff like that, and the fact that he could own it and apologize.
And I was like, that's very mature of you, Nigel. Thank you. The way Liv is set up though is you probably won't get back to where you were. You guys had
Mhm.
like a little spark and it's out.
Yeah.
But Brandon, I saw
Hmm.
some tea about Nigel. Can I
Oh, yes. Get into it because I saw a little, I think, was it the text from Reddit? They
Mm-hmm.
were long, so I didn't read them all, but I saw something like he was like being rude to someone, but go into it.
So I saw on TikTok this girl posted something. Okay, so honestly, there's like a percent chance, I don't know how small or not. There's a chance that this could not be real because when I did go back on Reddit to find it, they took it down for violating community guidelines.
Ooh,
So it could not be real, but since it's a shade of a doll, fuck it, who cares? We're gonna throw shade at
allegedly.
Nigel. Allegedly. So Nigel's ex posted the last text messages he sent her before he went on the show, right? So I'm just gonna read it because it's kind of crazy. Maybe not all of it. I mean, it's not that long. But this is the first message we see. He says, "Oh, I almost forgot. Consider this tough love, but lose some weight, take more showers, lay off the vape, wash your vagina, clean after yourself, learn some financial discipline, and don't let a 9-year-old boy dictate how you live your life. It's pathetic. If you're so adamant on how a man treats you, you should probably start with working on how you treat yourself."
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh, damn. Excuse me?"
all right, Nigel.
All right, Nigel. Like, the fuck?
Ew. Anyway, oh my gosh.
Then the next message is disclaimer, drunken text.
Not a drunken text is getting that disclaimer. Get out of here.
Right. And like, I'm almost one. You're very coherent, my friend.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
like, you're
almost
giving like a 5 paragraph essay. Are you sure this is drunken?
literally, there was a lot of intention to that message. Then he goes, after the disclaimer, he goes, "It's official. I'm flying out to Fiji on Tuesday, and I can't help but think about the person who got me here in the first place. I probably mean nothing to you at this point, but I want to leave you with this. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life that have cost me a lot of time and a lot of money, but more importantly, they've cost me people, especially some who I held most dear to my heart. You were one of those people to me, and I will always appreciate the time we spent together, good or bad. I was a real piece of shit to you. I two-timed you, I stonewalled, gaslit, and raised my voice at you when I didn't get my way. I treated you in such a disposable manner, and I said a myriad of things to you that didn't need to be said. I'm far from perfect, and I've made that painfully obvious to you, but regardless of how things ended with us, you opened my eyes to how beautiful a relationship can be, and for that, I will be forever grateful. I truly, truly wish you nothing but happiness and abundance from the bottom of my heart. Love, Nigel."
Okay.
I'm My first thoughts after Nigel's fight with Liv was that he is the kind of guy who like just needs to be right. Right? It
Yeah.
was a very brief moment and it wasn't that big of a deal, but he wants his feelings validated. He wants to feel right.
Yeah.
These text messages kind of track with a guy who's like that.
It's just, it's a lot like. I don't even know what to think about this. This just seems so bipolar. It's like, oh, I'm
Literally.
gonna tell you all this and like wash this and do this, and it's like, ew. And then it's like, I was terrible to you, and I just want to tell you that I'm so grateful for our experience, and I'm so sorry because now I'm going to Fiji and I'm going on Love
Yeah.
Island. Like, what?
And so some people were speculating, like, because the first message to the second makes me think maybe he thought she would argue back with him, and then she didn't. And so then he's like, oh, I was drunk, trying to take it back. Other people were like, he just apologized because he knew he was coming to Fiji and knew he was going to be on a show and didn't want you coming out and like talking shit about it, tried to smooth things over before he left, like for his public
Yeah.
image.
How far
But
apart were the messages, like
the
time-wise?
first one doesn't have a send date,
Okay,
unfortunately. But the second one was sent on June 1st, which tracks.
that does track.
So so I'm just like, this is really interesting. But I mean, it's just giving toxicity. Yeah, you acknowledged yourself, but like, damn, you can't sometimes I'm sorry isn't enough. You
No.
can't like tear me down as a person. And the whole thing about like basing your life off of a 9-year-old makes me think that she might have a kid.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, okay, so she is a kid. How long were my thing is I'm like, how long were they dating for? And just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
Like
know.
that just is aggressive things to say in general, let alone if you were dating someone for like how like a long time or even a short, like it's just all bad. Like it's just
All of
like
it.
and
I
like
mean,
I
it
feel like we didn't get to know him enough to where like I'm like, well, bye. Because as
yeah.
by the end of this, spoiler alert, by the end of this episode.
Nigel leaves anyway.
So I'm just like,
But
I mean, even with his argument with Liv, though, I guess I could understand, I don't know. Because he seemed calm. Even though we didn't like what he was saying to Liv, he seemed calm.
but he wouldn't let it go.
He wouldn't
Like
let it go.
they
Yeah.
didn't need to go back and forth. Like she's like I just was like sad that my friend was leaving. It could have ended at her explanation. But
Yeah.
he's like, "But look at your body language. Like your body language is off." And she's like, "No, the fuck it's not." And he's like, "But like, I just want you to understand how I'm feeling." And she's like,
Hmm.
"Okay, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but this is how it is." And he's like, he said, I don't think we're like communicating properly." And so it's like he wants her to have like he wants to say his piece and for you to agree and move on, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a little weird. I mean, I was gonna say all the black men on this show have disappointed me, but all the men on this show have kind of disappointed me, except for like Kenny. Kenny's like the only one who hasn't done anything wrong yet. So
That
like,
is true. As much of a hard time as I give Kenny, he's maybe kind of at least the most respectful so
yeah,
far.
so
So there
far.
is that. But
So this is our just side comments about Nigel, but I was like, ooh, this is
yeah,
interesting.
if
Maybe
those texts are real, Nigel, you're crazy. And
my thing is, it's so elaborate. They don't seem made up. Like
they don't.
if it was one, I was like, okay. But this doesn't seem like it's made up. But my thing is like, if she was gonna post it, why post it to Reddit? Why not go on Instagram or TikTok? We would have all hyped you up regardless, you know? So the means of it getting out is kind of weird to me. Maybe she did and someone put it on Reddit. I don't know.
And weren't they
Um,
like pictures of text messages and not even really screenshots?
yeah, it's like pictures of iMessage.
Yeah. So maybe from her laptop or something, which an interesting way to post them. I guess I just
Yeah.
wouldn't understand like if someone was faking them. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. Allegedly,
Or
maybe they're real, but
maybe she
um,
sent them to a friend. I don't
yeah,
know. There's a
maybe.
lot of theories, but
There's a lot of
I
theories, but we're giving more time to these theories than he spent camera time on
yeah.
this season.
We'll
So,
move on. We'll move on. I think Nigel's messy.
but
But
that was
anyways.
interesting. I did see that on Twitter. Like I read a little, and I was like,
Oh
he's
damn. Oh, it's on
concerning.
Twitter now too. Damn.
Everything's on Twitter.
So Cass and Rob
Oh
talk
yeah.
again.
And he says that she reminds him of a bee
And I
because
was
she's
like,
always moving.
that's an interesting adjective. I was like, it's not a compliment. Doesn't sound like
No.
it.
I was like, I
Um,
would be like, the fuck you mean a bee?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, I guess I'm sure bees are lovely to all bee enthusiasts. I don't judge, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking of
no,
the
the
beekeepers. I'm sure bees can be great, but I wouldn't want to be compared to one,
right. The
you
whole
know?
interaction was awkward.
Yeah.
She's like, they're trying to like banter a little bit, and she's like, I'm still trying to figure out your humor, I think she says. And then she's like, let's go find a snake for you to catch one. And he's like, I know a snake. And she's like, haha. And she like kind of changes the subject because I
Yeah, and
think
then
he was
he
talking
like
about
side
Leah.
eyes. I think, but then she said something like, "Oh, I see a snake," and he's like, "Oh," and then like looks up. Like it was just weird. Like it just
It was
kept getting
very weird.
weird. I didn't, you know.
And then when she got up, her bottle like hit her elbow or her knee or something, and it just sealed the deal that this whole interaction was hella
Yeah, she's
awkward.
like, "That sounded worse than it felt."
And
Is
he
what
just
she?
laughed at her, didn't even ask her if she was okay.
Yeah,
Rob was like, ha ha. I was like, yo, you're a dick.
yeah. It was just weird vibes, weird vibes.
They
But
should never speak again.
well, they just might not. Um,
Aaron
but
and Kaylor.
oh God, we just get it's basically Aaron and Kaylor are just basically telling them each other in so many words that they're starting to fall in love with each other. And like they're
Mm-hmm.
scared about it because Aaron's all like, I'm not good at expressing my feeling, or I'm good at expressing my feelings, but not talking about them. And he's like, oh, I love certain things about you. She's like, I feel the same way. She tells Liv, Liv's so excited.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like,
I
it's
think
almost
he
sad.
is this when he was like, yeah, I almost said I love you twice today or something like that.
Yeah, he was like, there's
Or
something I almost said, but I didn't want to say it. And I'm just like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna say it, but
yeah.
I'm not gonna say it. And I L a couple things about you. And
Mm-mm.
because at first you're not even saying the word, and I'm like,
Yeah. Oh boy.
by the end of all
Yeah.
this,
They're falling in love, I guess. And Kaylor seems really, they
allegedly,
actually both seem very happy about these like feelings of love potentially.
they
Because Kaylor,
do.
I think outright says like, yeah, I think I'm falling in love with you. Erin cannot say the word, but she does. And then she tells
Yeah.
Liv is happy. Aaron tells his best mate Rob, who is also happy. Um,
Yeah, and this is
and
where I
that's
think Rob is like, "Oh, I miss Andrea, but I'm kind of interested in Liv." And Aaron's
mm-hmm,
like, "Well, that's weird. It's like when the two people who like pick on each other or like annoyed with each other slowly start to like each other." And I'm like, I feel like we
mm-hmm.
haven't seen enough of them like picking on each other or like because we never really saw them not get along aside from like the
Yeah, we
beginning.
did. Oh
I
yeah.
am brief, like when he chose Leah instead of her, they had like one argument, but that was at this point like 15 episodes ago.
I mean, Liv kind of carried it for a little bit. She threw water in Leah's face. She threw
She
stuff at Rob during
did.
the game. But yeah, you're right. It didn't last very long, them like hating each other.
It feels like 2022.
It does. It was a long ass time ago.
It was, but
And this is the first time Rob mentions Andrea, I think, at all since she left, since the episode where she left.
it was because usually he's
I
like,
was like,
I'm
oh, you
so
remember
glad I met Connor and I'm so glad I met Aaron.
her? For real. I was like, Andrea, yeah. You remember her now? Because a lot of times he like says stuff. He's like, yeah, I'm looking for a girlfriend. What about Andrea? Like he really
Have you
acts like she
seen
was never there.
when he said I'm looking for a girlfriend? Have you seen the TikTok of the Love Island guys? I'm looking for a girl in the villa. Duh, duh.
Oh, no.
Oh my
You
gosh.
have to send it to me.
Maggie, it's like Kordell, then Kendall, then Aaron, then Coy. It's like the first group of guys. Like
Oh, they actually made a
they
TikTok.
made a TikTok. It's so bad.
Oh,
And it's funny
that's
though,
funny.
because it's like Cordell and Kendall go and they're going on the beat, like, I'm looking for a girl in the villa. Da 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 da. And it's like cringe. But then Aaron just goes, I'm looking for a girl in the villa. Da da. And he's not really going with it. And it's like funny. But then Coy goes and
Oh,
it's terrible. It's just all bad. I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
I'm
Um,
surprised too.
I'll send it to you after this. But I got it nighttime. Anything else happened during the day of note?
That's it.
All right, so we're at night. And Cassidy and Leah talk about Rob. And Leah's all like, it's okay to talk about him. Like, I don't care. And she just
Yeah.
wants him to get happy. And it seems like Leah and Cassidy have like a good kind of friendship starting. Cassidy even
Yeah.
says that Leah, Janae, and Serena made her feel so at home. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's sweet.
Yeah. It seemed like a really supportive, nice chat. And like Leah was super reassuring. She's like, no, you can talk about him. I really don't care. I think she's like officially over Rob. But yeah, she was being a really good friend in that moment.
She was. And then this is where Liv and Rob chat kind of, I guess, for the first time about whether they're feeling each other.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where he says that weird thing like, I don't want to be seen as a nice guy because it just lets people down.
I was like, I mean, we
But
don't
then he
expect
says
you to
he is a
be,
nice guy. He's like, I don't want to be
but
seen
then
as a
she,
nice guy, but I am a nice guy. But
and doesn't he ask her not to call him a nice guy?
he's
I don't know about Rob.
this is like when he was like the last couple episodes. Taylor Swift doesn't write a song about the guy that
Yeah,
stays.
I think he's really thinking about the audience, but it's like, what's wrong with you? And then like the whole let people down thing. You must be doing some really crazy shit to let people down when they think you're nice. Like, oh, I told a white lie. Okay, but that's understandable. We don't expect you to be perfect. So it's almost like you're a piece of shit and you're gonna fuck it up.
It's yeah. The thing is, the gag about Rob is if he was just more honest, he'd be likable. Because I think him leaving Leah for Andrea, it wouldn't. That's kind of the point of Love Island. And it
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have been such a bad look had he not had like, like the water performance. And then
Mm-hmm.
had he not like pulled that shit at the fire pit where he was like, I'm sorry, I'm walking off.
Yeah.
And then,
No, I think he's kind of arrogant. Like, he doesn't want to be the bad guy, but he behaves like a bad person and doesn't take accountability when he's bad. Right? Like, the whole fight with Leah was stupid. She was upset, and then you made it about you. I'm
mm-hmm.
more basically like the upset Olympics. When she had a valid reason to be upset, you could have just been mature and let her be upset. But
But
yeah,
that wouldn't be
he's weird.
Rob.
But they like I see a little bit of chemistry here between them in a very toxic kind of weird warped way. I
I
see
do
it
too. Gia said they're like the villains, and it
basically.
makes sense. And I'm like, I guess kind of. But they also make me sick because they were just
Um,
yelling at Leah together, and now they're all like, we're gonna get together. And I'm like, what?
yeah.
But I do
She
like
said she'd
Liv.
be can we call Liv an anti-hero? What does that even mean?
It's a Taylor Swift
She's like
song.
she's like a stop.
It's
She's like
me.
a
Hi, I'm
no,
the
no, no.
problem. It's
There's a
me.
name. Oh my gosh.
The the
There's a name for a villain who is good.
I think it is anti-hero. Because maybe it's like someone you root for, but also like it's hard to root for them. Because the protagonist would just be like good, antagonist is bad. Maggie's doing research. Maggie's
I am.
Googling. She's like, I'm about to
Because
find it.
maybe it is anti-hero.
I think it is. That sounds right to me.
Let me Google anti-hero. I should just did that first.
I thought that's what you were
Oh,
doing. Oh, no.
anti-villain.
Anti-villain. What does that mean?
Hold on, hold on.
That sounds like a double bad. Da-na-na-na-na, I was
No,
older,
that's not it.
da-da-da, and I'm wiser.
So then what's it?
Midnights become my afternoon. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. While Maggie's researching, Kaylor and Aaron talk, and they talk about how Kaylor says she could see him being her boyfriend. And I'm like, y'all haven't had this talk yet? Y'all were just saying you're low key in love with each other. What do you mean? Now it's like, oh boy, this is the problem with dating these days. They'll say and do any and everything before they actually put an official label on it. And it's like, you'll do all the things that mean this, but because you didn't distinctly say, but we were boyfriend and girlfriend, it's this is like Summer House. Let me throw it back real quick. Season 8 just happened. Sierra and West were a thing all season. She didn't want to sleep with him because she was like, look, I'm very intentional with dating. Like, if you don't see this going anywhere, I'm not going to pursue it. And he kept being like, no,
Mhm.
I do. After filming, he takes her to a wedding. He introduces her to his parents and like I think
Oh.
Missouri maybe. It's set in New
Hmm.
York, so in some other state. They go to visit his brother out of state. They sleep together. And then that was all like starting in September after filming. And then in December, he's all like, well, with the show about to start, I don't know what that's gonna bring because the show hadn't aired yet. And he was like, technically, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend yet. And it's like, but you're acting like boyfriend and girlfriend and basically doing everything.
Yeah.
So, and
You're
that's just,
you're you're finding a loophole. You need a loophole, you found one. It's
you did.
convenient
All
to
of a
have
sudden,
this
everyone's
loophole.
attorneys at law when it comes to this. I
You
did
are a
not
great
sign that
lawyer.
document.
I'm
It's like,
dead. I'm
did you
dead.
find the definition of
It was the
antihero?
proper term. Yeah, anti-hero is
Okay,
right. So
period. You know what
anti-hero
you're talking about,
is
Maggie.
the main character of a story, but one who doesn't act like a typical hero. They are a little villainous. So I feel like Liv is definitely an anti-hero.
She is, but we love
But
her.
anyway, yes, we do.
Um, and then Nicole gets a text, and they have to
Nicole gets
gather
a
by the fire
text.
pit.
Uh,
And this is where America's vote was revealed, and it's a lot of people were safe, but this was the vote. It was like, who's the most compatible couple?
yep.
And essentially, five couples are safe, and there's a bottom two couple.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in no particular order, it's announced Leah and Miguel are safe, Janae and Kenny, Kaylor and Aaron, Serena and Kordell, and then Nicole and Kendall. So the bottom two are Liv and Nigel and Cassidy and Rob. Not
Mm-hmm.
surprising in the slightest,
No.
because the other couple seems, even though Miguel and um Leah
Leah.
just started, they seem good.
Yeah.
Whereas like Rob and Cassidy have like the compatibility of like a paperback. Like it's like what's even going on there? And then Liv and Nigel, she
Yeah.
even said in the last episode she wasn't really feeling him. So it's
Yeah.
like, eh.
Yeah.
But they get
So then,
what was it? It was in
so
in the last one they had to vote. Like the
yep.
girls picked a girl to save and the
Mm-hmm.
guys picked a guy or to send home. But this one, they're like, we're going to cause trauma. We're going.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like,
Basically.
yeah, they're like basically one by one, y'all are gonna stand behind the person you want to stay in the villa, and two people are gonna go. And I'm like, this is sad.
Savage. Listen, I will say Love Island and their twist again. I hats off. Even the Casa Amor. It's an amazing twist. You really
Hmm.
know how to stir shit up. I think that though, I didn't really need to see all 20 minutes of this. I was like, is this really the whole wrestling? One by one, dramatic music and pauses in between each person getting up. I mean, I think the first three were slow, but then they kind of picked it up. But I was like, still, this is so drawn out. Like, can you just tell
No,
us?
it
Can
was
you all
bad.
go at the same time? Like, fuck, one by one. Damn.
Yeah,
And
and
then
it
it
was
was just
just
so
it was a
long,
lot. I was like, I feel like we could have done this a different way,
right?
especially because it just was sad.
Yeah, it was.
Because I have the order of who picked who.
Same.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Basically, Serena stands behind Liv, Kordell stands behind Rob, Janae stands behind Liv, Kenny stands behind Nigel,
Mm-hmm.
Kaylor stands behind Liv, Aaron stands behind Rob, Nicole stands behind Liv, Kendall stands behind Rob. And note this, no one has stood behind Cassidy,
Lee. Oh yeah, Cassidy.
which I mean, okay, here's the thing. And I think people thought maybe Leah would. And Liv
Yeah,
at
I
one point
did
was
too.
like, because all the girls are like, this is fucked up. Like, we
Yeah,
feel
they're
so bad for
whispering a lot. There's a
Cassidy.
lot of whispers during this game.
Yes, and
Or
Cassidy's, did you
twist.
notice Cassidy's neck? It was turning red.
Was it? I
It
didn't. I
was,
just
I
know
felt
she
it was bad. I felt so bad for her.
I felt like yeah, me too. And I was like, you're strong because I would have cried and just walked away.
I think she was disassociating because I think at that point she kind of with this, she knew she was going home, I think, because she's like, I've been here like a day or two. They're not gonna vote to save me. I think it
Yeah.
was more just being in the situation.
Yeah, like by the time Leah goes, there's four people behind Liv. So we know Liv is gonna be safe. Leah can stand behind Cass with no bad blood on her hands.
Hmm.
But she doesn't. She stands behind Liv and I felt so bad. I was like, Leah, why? Y'all just had a heart to
I
heart.
know. I
Go be
got it
nice
because
and
me,
stand
I
behind her.
felt like maybe she thought, oh, maybe she didn't know. She was like, I don't want to be seen as shady because like Liv is my girl and all that. And that's good because
Eh,
her and Liv did make up because they did fight, but it was kind of
Yeah.
like, ooh, somebody needs to stand behind
I understand
Cassidy.
why Leah did it. I wonder if Liv could have just like, because Liv was already whispering like, I hope she stands behind Cass. She
Yeah.
could have just like pointed like, yo, go
Right,
stand
just
over
like go
there.
to
Like
Cassidy, go to. I
nudge,
know we're
like go
good,
stand
we're
behind
good, we're
Cass.
good.
We're
Go to
good. Go
Cassidy.
stand behind Cass. Um,
Yeah, and then Miguel chooses Rob, which that actually surprised me. I thought maybe also Rob that Miguel maybe seeing Cassidy and no one might stand behind her because they did have that date.
oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, maybe he did too, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they were really making a statement. I mean, the trauma from the first time voting and all of the shit that like came unfolded after that, like I think maybe they have some underlying pressure, like these votes say something about who I'm voting for or
Yeah,
against, and so they really took it seriously, which makes sense, or they were all just following each other because they thought they should.
yeah, all of the
um
above.
yeah, so
Um,
Cass had no one, Nigel just had Kenny, and then everybody else was with Liv and Rob, so Nigel
yeah,
and Cass go home. Brandon,
yes,
I have a theory because they just got in, and I feel like it's kind of unfair to have a vote so soon after bombshells enter. I think it's really been like 2 days. I don't think it's been three.
yeah.
So part of me thinks that maybe they sped up Casa Amor and they're like, all right, we gotta hurry up. Everybody's in a good place. Hurry up. Let's start Casa. Y'all gotta go. Because I was like, why is the vote so soon? Because usually they give the bombshells immunity during these, but they didn't this time.
They didn't. Maybe I guess because I know they gave Miguel. And I think it was because he just came in that episode and was just paired with Liv. I guess
Yeah.
with these, they had been there at least 2 episodes. I also think, because as I was saying before, when these three bombshells came, I was just like, where the fuck did they find these bombshells?
Literally. Maybe production was like, we fucked up the bombshells.
I-
Retreat, retreat.
yeah, I mean, Cassidy was nice, but she was kind of like, she gave me like, kind of like AI robot. Like, you couldn't really read her. She wasn't really making eye contact with people. Like, it was just kind of like, I don't know. She wasn't really connecting. Nigel wasn't either. So, I
I'm
mean,
tr- I'm looking back to see how many episodes it's been because but yeah, it could have been a mix of things.
yeah. And someone on TikTok was like, the produce the producer should have done a twist where it was like they get a text saying this isn't Friendship Island, this is Love Island. So Liv and Rob, you have to go. And I'm like, no, that would have been, I mean, yeah, that would have been crazy, but like, look, as much as we give Rob and like Liv as our anti-hero, I'm not trying to see them go over Cassidy and Nigel.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I felt bad
yeah,
for Cassidy, but I'm like, all right. Um,
yeah.
but
Yeah, it
and
hasn't been long, but
yeah,
that's just
and
my theory.
no, yeah, they might have. I don't know when Casa Amor usually starts, so I'd have to see. What
Um,
the episode of last season was it around the same episode?
yeah. Well, no. The after fuck. Let me just look real quick because
Okay.
I do have it up. I've been watching it all day.
Oh,
Uh, um,
she's like, I've been doing
but
my homework.
well, I mean, Love Island has had me in such a chokehold that I'm like, since I can't watch the newest episode tonight, I might as well watch something.
I know.
Um, uh,
Literally every day except for Wednesdays is not enough. Because although like Saturday has an episode, it's just the after sun. So it's like it's not like a real episode.
Love Island production, if you can hear us, please have live feeds
Oh yeah.
and you will make so much money. You have no idea. It's basically set up like Big Brother. Okay, so for reference, Big Brother is a show on CBS and they have live feeds. So you can basically watch Big Brother all day, all night. They turn
Hmm.
them off for challenges and stuff, but it's set up the same way as Love Island. There are cameras everywhere, always watching you, always recording you. No producers in your face, like unless there's games to show you how to do things, but it's basically pretty much the same thing. Y'all could have live feeds and let us watch 24 hours. I feel like people really would.
I think they would too. Like, I certainly think Rob has a podcast, might, because it's not the
Yeah.
same time as Big Brother.
Yeah.
There's got to be some people that would. I mean, we wouldn't have a life if we did that. We would just be constantly
Oh yeah, but I honestly think I would like sacrifice to be able to do it.
for a month and a
You take the
half. It would
day
be our
chief.
lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Casa Amor last season started episode 19, so it's not far off. It was episode 19 for this season too.
Okay, yeah. So it's on par. But
Yeah. I
um,
just had a theory.
yeah, I think there could be some merit to that theory, Maggie.
Yeah.
That they were
I
at
was
least
like,
get rid of these boring people before Casa Amor, at
R-
least.
right. Because if I was Cass or Nigel or Kenny, I would feel a little slighted because it's like, damn, I just got here. But
I know, right?
it is what it is. You didn't work hard enough or fast enough. This is Love Island. Y'all need to be coupling up or getting it together,
Or
or
get
leaving,
lost.
basically. So then,
But
oh yeah,
Cassidy felt a type of way about Leah
yeah,
a little
which
bit.
was, which was valid, and Leah was like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. It
I'm
wasn't
wearing Liv's
personal.
clothes. Like I couldn't
Yeah,
not. And then they were watching her
yeah.
pack, and Cassidy was like, "You guys actually shouldn't watch me. Like it's making it worse." And they're
She left
like,
the room and they were all whispering. They were like, "I'm sorry." And I was
"That's
like,
where I'm like."
yeah.
She randomly went to the bathroom. I'm like, "You talk to a producer," and they were like, "Go talk to Leah," because noted how she like came out. She's like, "Hey Leah, can we chat?"
Oh, do you think they're there, like in the rooms?
I think they gotta be, but they're good at hide. They don't show them. They
I
gotta be
don't think they're
somewhere.
there, Brandon.
They have to. Producers are always there. They
Maybe
got
she
it.
got a text.
She could have got a text, but she got
But
something
yeah.
because the way she immediately walked out and was like, "Hey Leah, can we chat?" I'm like,
Uh-huh.
hmm.
Girl.
But
Anyways, they leave.
bye. And,
Bye.
and then we get noted that and 19 is when Casa Amor
Officially
pops off.
starts.
And but
Episode
before that,
19.
yeah, 19, Casa Amor doesn't start right away. We kind of like ease into it a little bit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Janae talks about how she feels bad that Cassie had no one, but Liv rode for her when she was at the bottom, so she had to return the favor, which is true.
Yeah.
Because immediately Liv was like, Janae stays. So that was good.
Oh yeah, Liv had her back 100%.
She did. And then Kenny's like, Janae has been treating me so well and says they can't count the contest kiss as a real kiss. And so they make
Yeah.
out again.
They have their first real quiz. And this is the first time I was like, oh, this is a little steamy. And I wasn't
It
like
was.
disgusted.
I know. It's like
She liked it too.
she did, which is good. I'm happy for Janae that she's finding somebody to like connect with because she was having some struggles in the beginning.
She was, yeah.
So yeah. Leah and Miguel were happy they weren't in the bottom and they could have banter. He's funny with her. I like their banter and they're like but kind
Oh
of like
yeah,
they're
they
kind of
vibe.
sarcastic with each other. I like
Y-
it.
Me too. No, they definitely vibe.
Hmm. Serena and Kordell dance and she basically opens up to him and she's like, I'm not soft because she's scared to open up, but gives reassurance that she really likes him. And then he's like, oh, the
Hmm.
feeling's mutual. And she says he was handpicked for her because not many men would be this patient, and she could see them working
Mm.
on the outside.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh
Hmm.
my God. And this again, I feel like I've said this before. I feel like with Serena and Cordell, she's done some maybe a little shady-ish things, but it is kind of more realistic when you think about like getting to know someone and building a foundation of like a friendship.
Especially someone who isn't your type, like appearance wise, because I feel like that, like, there were some things about him at first that she didn't like. But in this situation where she was like genuinely giving him a chance, she like grew to love things about him and really like him. So
Hmm.
like even though I guess it was kind of shady, but I just feel like it was just one of those situations like those movies where the nerd is obsessed with the hot, or yeah, the nerd is obsessed with the football player and the football player is like gross. But over time they start hanging out because the football player is teaching the nerd or the nerd is teaching the football player how to do math and then they fall for each other. Like I feel like it's kind of one of those.
Cordell's Hillary Duff and Serena's Chad Michael Murray. And she's like,
Exactly.
wow, I'm really trying to find my love that wore an eye mask and had nothing else covered, but I have no idea who it is. Who would have thought it was the waitress?
And I mean, it might unfold just like their love story. Waiting for you is like waiting for rain in this drought.
I have a feeling she's Serena. Let's just say,
Serena doesn't fuck around.
no, like I'm scared for Daia. Like, Daia, if you with
I,
your mousy voice go like, well, I was giving Cordell what you weren't giving him. I think Serena might fuck you
bitch,
up.
I really could. I think Daya has some fucking common sense. There have been a couple times this season where I'm like, please just hit them. Like, please hit them. Like when Rob got mad at Kendall during the game, I was like, Rob, punch him so you can go home. Like, I want to see you get out.
I
Because he was
wonder,
pretty mad. He was really mad.
he was big mad for like no reason. It was
No
like, this is
reason.
a game, relax.
Yeah.
I do wonder, I would imagine the rules are if you hit someone, you go home, but so many
Yeah.
shows are different.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I
Usually
don't
that's
know.
the rule, but maybe not.
We'll see.
But Serena would stand up. She's like, "Well, I'm not matching. I don't like any of these bombshells, so let me punch this girl and leave. Like,
She's
take
like,
me
you
out.
brought this bitch
Take my
over
mic
here to
pack."
talk shit to me. Oh, I bet I'm done. This is how much I care about the
Woo.
camera time. Because they
Hmm.
try to like, some people are like, oh, Serena just gets with Cordell because of the recoupling. And I'm like, I
No
don't think that's
way.
true. I
Their
just don't.
behavior doesn't track in that way at all.
It
Like,
doesn't.
she literally was like, "Please go kiss other people," and then they slowly got to know each other. Like, I don't,
Hmm.
you know. But then like Kordell kind of after this conversation, Kordell hitting his like confessional is like, I really like Serena, like just
Hmm.
small things about her, like I like it when she snorts, when she laughs, and like this connection seems to me the most genuine out of anybody. Like they
I
know each
agree.
other. It's playful, it's fun, it's intimate at times. Like it's perfectly well-rounded for like a healthy
Hmm.
relationship. Like before they started talking, they were doing a TikTok dance. Like they were both dancing together. They joke, they laugh. Like it is so wholesome and sweet.
It
Which is
is.
why the end of this episode made me sick to my stomach. But we'll continue.
You know,
Hmm.
Nicole and Kendall chat for like the 18th time where they say like, oh, I like you. And they're
Yeah.
like, I like you too.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Amazing. And you
He's
know,
he's able to be his whole self with her.
yeah, which is nice.
And
Amazing.
then she said it would take a lot to turn her.
And it would. And I think a lot for him to turn as well. Which is
Mm-hmm.
good. It seems like they seem solid. It's just they have like the same conversation every 2 seconds. It's like, oh yes, I really like you. Great. Okay.
Yeah, like they talk about having similar values and stuff, and I was like, when? But granted, like I kind of really listen into the conversations I like the most, and I didn't really like Kendall and Nicole at first, so I wasn't paying attention. Like I pick up the cute small things about Serena and
Cordell.
Kordell, but not
Mhm.
necessarily. So I may have missed it.
Yeah, half the time I'm really just paying attention to Nicole because I can't stand Kendall. But Rob and Aaron chat and they feel bad for Cassidy and they basically say that every girl that Rob's been with except for Leah has had a horrible fate. And
And
it's
Leah low-key
true.
had a horrible fate too.
She did, but you know, she's winning the America's votes. She's with Miguel. You
Mm-hmm.
know, of the three, it's working out
She's
for
doing
her.
it is.
Meanwhile, Andrea's looking stupid in interviews. So it's just like, and now Cassidy, I saw some TikTok she did with Sally, but I didn't watch it all. I just saw it existed.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't check back in because I didn't care that much to. Um, and then he talks about Liv again, and then Liv talks to Kaylor about Rob, and she basically just doesn't want to get her hopes up because she doesn't know, but she's open to like talking.
Yeah, which makes sense because nothing has worked for Liv so far. So I would also be on guard about anybody who's like, "Oh, I'm interested." She'd be like, "Okay, we'll see," because the way this is set up is I haven't had any luck.
I know, right? And then
No one is, I know I just noted that nobody is sad.
no, and did you also note that Leah and Miguel were totally fucking in bed?
You think so? Oh,
No,
yeah.
I bet.
Oh.
Because it's like nighttime. I don't think too much happened after the live chat. I don't. The next thing I have is Leah and Miguel were totally in bed.
No. I did peep that because she made a face and I was like, that's not an ordinary face. He's something is happening
No,
here.
there was movements. It
Yeah.
was. It was. It was not an ordinary nighttime. And I think they even commented on it. Someone did the next day.
They're like, did you
Um.
hear those noises last
um.
night? All right then.
Right. Next
Oh,
day.
the
Oh yeah.
girls tease JaNa and say she has a boyfriend.
Oh yeah. That was
They're
cute.
like, Nene has a boyfriend. And I was like, Nene, I love this. Can I call her
I
Nene
love
too?
the girls. They're such good vibes. I want to hang
They
with
are.
them.
But yeah,
Um,
next day.
Kaylor tells the girls, I guess for the first, she says she's fallen in love with Aaron. I feel like we've heard this a million times
Yeah, I was
in
like,
so
I
many
thought she
different
told them
ways.
already.
I know. I'm like, how many? We know. We
But
know.
they all are very excited for her.
Yes. And
I'm like,
she is scared he doesn't feel the same way. But then at the same time, he's telling the guys he's on his way to falling for Kaylor. They seem to
mm-hmm,
be pretty much on the same page.
mm-hmm.
Nicole says she sees herself with Kendall again. Yeah. But then the boys get a text
Yeah, which is
about,
ironically one last thing.
oh yes.
During this morning conversation, Serena says that she wants to like let Kordell in more. And then like the boys get this
Mm-hmm.
text.
Oh yep. And it's basically hashtag Casa Amor. But I didn't know. I don't know I guess maybe this is how it was other seasons. You could choose to stay or leave.
I only watched the aftermath. I didn't see the beginning, so maybe it's always been a choice, or maybe this is the first time. I mean, they were like, "Ooh." I mean, the boys just hype over every text and everything the text say.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, Rob jokingly was like, we should stay, and then Cordell was the one who was like, wait a minute. But
Yeah,
I'm
he's like,
also
we got to
like,
think it through.
I know they get a choice, but I'm like, it's a show. Like, I would imagine they would all go, like,
Yeah,
regardless. I'm like, they want you to go to Casa Amor just because it's part of the
yeah,
show. So I'm like, I'm sure it's like you have a choice, but
you do. The only person that I feel like should have seriously contemplated whether to go or not is Aaron because he like apparently loves Kaylor, but he didn't think too hard about it either.
he seemed like he was like, oh, I don't know, but
Yeah, he felt bad about not
he
saying. He
wanted
was like,
to
"We don't
say
get to say
bye. Yeah.
bye." Like,
Yeah.
what?
And it's
He
like,
did feel bad.
okay. And him and Cordell were like, oh, we're gonna sleep outside. We're not gonna sleep in the bed with a girl. All this. They're talking the
I
most
th
shit.
Yeah, I think Kendall agreed. Oh no. Yeah, I think yeah, they both agreed. They're like, "We're gonna sleep outside, no kissing, nothing. We're gonna do it." And then they run off
Basically,
and grab their
though,
bags
before
too.
they even finished reading the text, Miguel was running to his luggage.
Oh, guys, we know what Miguel is here for. He basically just wants to fuck. Like
Yeah,
Miguel
which
is
I'm
here
like,
to fuck.
you know what? And then they have this whole montage where the guys are being so extra. Like
Casa,
Kenny's like,
casa, and I was like,
God. I'm like,
I hate all of you.
everything about all of you. Ugh. But you know, whatever. I get it. I'm sure the people were like, we got to make like a montage or like something of y'all being excited going to Casa. So it's like it was
Yeah.
funny enough. Mhm. But then the girls are there and
Hmm.
Ariana shows up in her, little striped dress and she's just like, "Hey bitches, I look good, I know. I'm here to tell you something that you don't really know. The guys are
Brandon.
at Casa."
If you guys are watching YouTube, Brandon is killing this little like not too crazy shimmy. Go off, Brandon. I know that's
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. But Ariana shows up and she basically tells the girls one by one whether their guys went to Casa or not, but they all went to Casa. And
They all went to
Kaylor's
Casa.
very upset. She's like,
Yeah.
doesn't she cry? Mm.
Yeah, I think so.
She like is
Yeah.
sad. And Ariana tells her that it will be okay no matter what. And I was just like, this is good that Ariana's there because she went through something so humiliating. And look how her life turned out. So she really can be like the one to be like, trust me, like
It'll be all right.
you'll be good. It'll be bad maybe, but Kaylee does say she would have stayed if she had the decision.
To leave, yeah.
Yeah. And then Serena
Um,
says if he recouples, no one's gonna want to see who she becomes. And I'm like,
yeah.
"Ooh, we're gonna see a different side of Serena, I just know it.
Yeah. Like Ariana tried to cheer Kaylor up a little bit and she was like, I can't be selfish. It's okay. But she mentions that they've been together nonstop for 3 weeks. So it's been 3 weeks for Serena and for Kaylor. So I feel like
Hmm.
that's important to note. Like you are with these people for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 21 days straight. So like
Hmm.
anybody who's like, I don't understand how they developed, shut up. It's been 3 weeks.
It's been a solid amount of time.
Yeah, solid
Like,
enough for the two of them to actually be like, nah, I'm in deep, I'm down bad, you know?
yeah. And then
Oh, she
but
says they're all gonna have a pool party and the
they
boys
are
are
in that
coming.
the guys aren't gonna have all the fun because there's gonna be six new guys coming to the villa. And I'm
Yeah.
like, spoiler alert, the guys are the only ones that have fun because the girls are baddies and the guys they bring are total scrub it up dubs.
Oh, they're
I'm
very
like,
like
where did
mid.
y'all find these? Craigslist? Like, what are these?
Some of them are cute, but it wasn't like all of them. All of those girls are stunning.
No, like
Some of the guys, I was like,
baddies.
some of
Aside
the
from
guys, I was like,
Sydney, the girls were showing out. I was
they
like,
were.
okay.
And I was so glad Sydney wasn't getting airtime because she was
She
so
wasn't.
annoying.
I
I
noted
was
that
like,
the whole
thank
time. I was
God.
like, where's Sydney at?
Thank God nobody likes this bitch because I hate her.
I
She's
know.
so. There was a
Okay.
point where I saw her like being annoying, and I was like, there she is. But it was just during a game.
It was. It was during one of the games because she had to kiss someone.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at Casa Amor now, and this is where things just take a turn, turn,
Mm-hmm.
turn. But we'll introduce the girls. They show up to Casa Amor, and their names are Destiny, Sierra, Sydney, Catherine, Daia, and Daniella.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guys are just in awe. I at the podcast I was listening to, she's speaking with Emily Hanks. She was saying too, she was like, the new guys they brought are kind of lame, but the girls are the type of girls you don't want your men to be around.
Absolutely not. And like I saw someone kind of compare Casa Amor to a brothel, and I was like, it kind of is like these girls are ready to fuck.
It's like
They're
it's just there's
ready.
so much. I would say what adds to it is just like the games where it's literally like you
Oh
have to
yeah.
make out every 2 seconds.
Yes. But I feel like specifically the Casa people know we only have 4 days with them. We
Yeah.
want them to pick us. Like they are basically working overtime to
Yeah.
get these guys' attention. They don't have a lot of time. They're kind of dividing attention, right? Like they are working. And I mean, I can't blame them because like that's the show. But she was like, I really wonder what these contracts look like that they sign. And I'm like, low key I do too, because some of the moments of the game, I was like, do y'all want to do this? Like,
Yeah.
do you want to be thrown up against a bed for a challenge, a kissing challenge? Like, like
It was just
some moments I was like,
it
this is
was
a little weird.
uncomfortable. And I'm all about like do you, but it was just a lot to
A
where it was
lot.
just like I don't want to see this.
Yeah, and
Um
like I hope you consented.
yeah. Well, because it was a lot, we'll get into it, but it was just
Yeah. So
the
now there's so
oh,
much back and forth after we kind of
mm-hmm.
introduce the new people. We kind of just will talk about it from like the whole experience by couple because there's
Yeah.
so much back and forth. Sometimes I don't even know people's names. I'm sure people watching felt the same way. Like, who's that girl kissing this part? Like, I don't know, you
Yeah,
know?
it took me a minute. I was like,
Yeah.
who's this? And I think
No.
even the guys, I don't know a lot of their names. There was one
No, the
point I was writing because I think Kaylor was kissing, I think his name's Jalen.
Yeah,
and
I
some
remember that.
game, but I wrote, she's kissing some guy. I don't remember his name.
No, a lot of my notes are like someone kisses Kaylor, someone kisses Kordell, like it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
But
and there's like the two games. It's like spin the bottle. It's the Casa versus the
yeah,
Villa. Just a lot going on.
a lot
But
going on,
what
yeah.
couple do we want to start with?
Um oh
Do
well, let's introduce the guys real quick.
oh yes, the guys. I forgot to
Um
introduce the guys because you know.
yeah, let's introduce the guys.
Let's do
So
that real
they're
quick.
Ignacio, Josiah, Jacobi, Kane, George, and Jalen. Um
Yes.
The girls are literal bombshells, like by definition, all of the context applied to bombshells. The guys are
Yeah.
smitten.
The guys are in awe. They love the girls. The girls with the new guys, I feel like they weren't that impressed off the bat, or maybe they were, but they didn't show it.
I didn't see anybody have any particular feelings about it. Like they were just like, wow.
There's guys. Look at
But like for
that.
the guys, when the girls came in, all of them, Kendall, Miguel, Aaron, these girls are beautiful. Oh my gosh. Miguel is like Casa Amor is Casa Amoring. And he says it like 300 times. Miguel is literally in paradise. Miguel is like, this is what I've always dreamed of, a house full of women who I can kiss and
Yes, he's like, this
potentially
is what I
fuck.
came here for.
Literally. So we're gonna go by couple. So let's start with the progression of Kordell and Daia.
Oh, Cordell and Daia. So we knew Daia was coming for Cordell because of After Sun. Because she was like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna treat him right. Like, I think Cordell deserves so much better. And like, and
Which
I
makes me
will
want,
give
yeah.
a slight, not benefit of the doubt, but I feel like one of the last things they saw maybe was the dancing game.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't think they've seen the most recent things, particularly what happened at the beginning of this episode, where Kordell and Serena basically lock in and they're like, basically saying, like, I really like you, like expressing real feelings towards each other and
Yeah.
solidifying it. I don't think they've
Hmm.
seen that. Um, which is kind of important to know, right? Also,
Well,
Daia's 27, Kordell is 22. A lot of people on TikTok are like, what does this grown woman, almost 30, want to do with this little boy? And so a lot of people are like, maybe she likes him because of his brother and stuff. And I'm like, that's not a bad assumption. It's not.
someone on Twitter said she was in the Odell's comments.
Yeah, I heard that too, which is like, damn, y'all are detectives for real.
I know,
Because
right? I didn't see a
what?
screenshot or anything, so I'm like, who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe they were just saying it. But I
yeah,
mean, it is a little just like something just doesn't feel right
it
with
doesn't.
Daya. It just
No,
feels too targeted and too like, I'm gonna be what you need. Like I'm gonna be the Stepford wife for you, and I'm gonna take care of you, and I'm gonna like fix your hair at night, and I'm gonna give you my lip gloss, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna make you feel
she
the
was
way I need to make
literally
you feel.
catering to him the whole time. Like, okay, their first conversation, she's like, I would have picked you right away. You deserve someone better, blah, blah, blah. Which kind of pissed me off because at other times when people have disparaged Serena, Kordell has said something and he didn't say something this time. He didn't say
He
anything
didn't.
to her deserve something better comment. And I was like, Kordell. At this point, I'm like, Kordell, Kordell, you all right? What's going on, Kordell?
He's in
You seem a
awe.
little you lost your words, Kordell. What's going on? And then like they say, she's like, you need someone who can reciprocate your energy. He says he likes it when women are straightforward, but he was still thinking of Serena. He won't block anything or leave with the regrets. That's what he says. But I'm just
Hmm.
like from off the bat, she was very much like, Kordell, I want you. You deserve someone like me.
There was an
And
agenda. The vibe is just off. Like it made me feel ugh. And it was
yeah,
just like she was just like, I don't know. Like it was
yeah,
just I did not like it. I think, he was smitten because she's pretty and she's giving him attention and like
yeah. And
I don't
like
know.
what we've seen, because I can only compare it to what I've already seen. What we've seen from Kordell in the past is he does like it when women are straightforward. He doesn't mind being physical with women. He enjoys it. Serena wanted to take her time and he respected it. But when Nicole wanted to kiss him on their date, he kissed her. Like he
Yeah.
likes to be physical. He likes physical affection. So like I she's like saying and doing all the right things for him, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah,
Which really sucks. So they
it
talk in the
does.
beginning and then they talk later.
Yes. And then
Well, the game happens in between.
the game and they kiss because it's like a spin the bottle and it's I think one of those things like who's the most attractive or who are you attracted to? Like,
Or yeah, it was something where he had to pick somebody. Kordell had to pick somebody to kiss and he picked Daia. So I think
hmm.
it was already like the feelings were there. He wanted to kiss her to see what it was.
Yes. And then I think he was trying to tell himself that outside of a game, he wouldn't like kiss someone. But
Yeah.
then they're in their room. There's like a tour, quote unquote, happening. And then they sit down somewhere and he's like, "Oh, you got lip chap." And she's like, "No, I only have this lip gloss, but like, if you don't want to use it, I can give it to you by kissing you." And he's like, "All right." And then they
Okay.
just like have an intense makeout session. And I'm just like,
They do.
"Bleh."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's cutting to Serena
Mm-hmm.
missing him. Like
Yeah.
she's just like in the villa, just like, I miss him. And she kissed someone during the game too, but she's like, all I can think about is Cordell and like I really miss
Literally.
him and I'm like sick over this. And I'm
Literally.
like, I mean, wow, he's
Oh.
I don't
And
like
then
this.
yeah, and then so it's just like this is why I'm saying like she wants to take him to bed. Like she's like ooh, like very flirtatious sexual energy, and it's like girl, do you? But I'm just upset about it because it hurts somebody
She's
that
like the
I've now become a
siren
fan of.
that comes in just like,
Yeah,
I can treat you better. Da, 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 da. She just
right.
has a weird fucking vibe. I don't care. If we're being shady, we're being shady. I don't care. There's
I
something
don't
about
care.
her I don't trust. She has
No,
shifty
she.
eyes and it's there's something I don't like it in a mousy voice. And it's just something
Yeah,
you don't trust. Two bad qualities. And I just don't
yeah.
like it. And the balloons agree. It's just too
Um,
much.
s- Something even happens. I think before they kiss, she's like, "You're sleeping in my bed tonight," and he's like, "Oh, all right, yeah, yeah." So it's like she's really like laying it on thick. Like, I am your person. You will choose me, and he likes it.
He does.
So, and then I think this night he goes, "Yeah, they're kind of like 50-50 in my mind," and I was like, "Already, Kordell?"
Yeah, because he said as far as making out, they're dead even. Like
Oh,
as
is that
far
what he meant?
I think so, but I think maybe he gets to 50-50. I slowly but surely, but I think I remember
Not
specifically,
50-50.
well, not 50-50 again. But he said when making out, they're like pretty dead even.
Oh,
Which
okay, okay. I thought he was like they're dead even like in terms of my affection.
yeah, which I'm like, okay, like he didn't disparage Serena. And I mean, so far, all we see from him and Daia is like a physical connection, which is the one thing he wasn't getting that much of from Serena. They started to get more physical, but like, you know, but after that, the lip gloss make out, he's like feeling sick. He's like, I feel so bad. I feel guilty. Meanwhile, while Cordell's feeling sick, Kendall's bitch ass is just Mr. Oh, how dare you say 50-50? Or, oh, I can't believe Nicole would even talk to somebody else. And like, oh,
Uh,
the girl I like should only like me. And blah, blah, blah. It's just like, oh, Cordell, you shouldn't feel bad. This is what you came for. Yes, you need to find a girl who will treat you how you deserve. Shut up, you simp ass bitch.
literally.
Everything about you is lame, Kendall. I hate you because you would be sick if you were
Hmm.
Serena in this situation. You
You
were
really
sick for
would.
less.
And I don't even really get it. I mean, maybe Cordell hasn't like debriefed with Kendall, but they're like really close. So I feel like he probably has. And I'm like, Kendall, what do you have against Serena? Like, okay, she took her time. And what about it? Women don't have to be all over you from jump to show that they like you. Like, it's kind of stupid his like thoughts on Serena. Even before, he was like, she did you dirty. And Cordell was like, no, she didn't. I don't think she did. you know, but like Kendall has
Yeah.
this narrative that like Serena doesn't treat him well because she's like, I don't know, slow moving and up front. The fuck? I will say, Serena's shadiness aside, she's always been 100% like open about how she feels in the moment that she
Hmm.
feels it. When she wasn't feeling him, she told him. When she was starting to feeling him, she told him. And then when she
Yeah.
really had feelings for him, she told him. So like, and he wasn't mad about it. So why are you? If Kordell's not upset, why are you guys upset?
Because men are
Stupid.
simple-minded and equate the most importance to like this sexuality and like stuff like that. Because that's all Daia's doing different. She's just like,
Yeah.
oh, you're amazing, and like let's like get physical. We've yet to see them have a deep conversation, which
About
granted,
life or
it's
anything.
only like the second day. I'm not even saying in a normal time they should, but it's just I don't like the subtle shade towards Serena, especially because the
Yeah.
next day it just kind of builds even more because
Yeah.
Kordell and Daia are talking about the pool. It was kind of funny because he was like twisting his hair, and someone said he always twists his hair more than a girl when he's excited. I'm like, that's kind
Yeah,
of
I thought that
funny.
was funny.
But they're just looking like, oh, I'm so excited, like this is what he deserves, like all this. And then they make out by the
Yeah.
pool. They make out again in the game. It's just more of the same, and it's interjected with Serena crying at the villa to Liv because she just really likes Kordell. She misses him and she just doesn't want to look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
conveniently,
it,
she just opened up and now this happens.
yeah, like I really feel for Serena. She's scared and she has a reason to be. Like they've seen this show before. But yeah, no, it's literally so sad. And she's like, this is literally why I don't put my heart out there, why I am slow moving, because
Hmm.
then I catch feelings and then I feel like this. And I feel so bad for her. And then like after they in his confessional, Kordell is like, Daia checks his boxes, he likes her, and she could
Hate that
pass
saying.
Serena. Um,
Look,
yeah, and it's just like for real, Kordell, like that's all it took, which is so crazy because I don't know. I'm so conflicted because on one end, okay, maybe she does check your boxes. Maybe she does. But like you're completely not thinking about the other connection that you have. Like this day, we
yeah,
don't see him saying in his confessional, "Oh, I feel bad." That's done. That was yesterday. Today, we're good. Like, you know,
yeah,
he's not thinking about Serena at all, and he's not thinking about like the ways that their relationship has grown because it's grown a lot. Like Kordell, she is your genuine friend. Like I low key feel like he needs a parent in them in there to like help him. I think at one point Janae was like, Kendall will be the parent. No, the fuck he's not. Like he kind of
mm,
needs somebody to help him weigh it for real. He's 22, right? He's young. So maybe he
yeah,
doesn't see realness when it happens, but this physical stuff that's just physical and it feels strong and passionate doesn't last as much as the things where you connect with someone on an emotional level and a physical level. Like both of those
yeah.
things matter, not just one.
I agree. Preach, Maggie. And then there was a funny moment. I think it was Janae and Serena, and they were talking about what if Cordell brings someone else? And Janae's like, no, he won't. She's like, I will throw his little ass in this fire.
He is kind of small. He
I
is
was,
a little
he is,
small.
and I'm like, Serena, be prepared to throw, because I'm sure, because my thing this whole time during this, I'm like worried, because I've said before in episodes, I'm protective of my OGs, even if I
Mm-hmm.
don't like them that much. I'm like, there's a soft spot over these random newbies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, if Aaron and Cordell bring someone, does that mean Serena and Kaylor have to leave? I don't think it does
No.
necessarily. I think they'll stay. Mostly they'll try to keep them there for the aftermath of it all.
Yeah.
But also, bombshells, I'm sure more are going to show up. So it's like,
Yeah.
there's still time.
Yeah. Okay. I actually watched season 5, the clips, because I kind of wanted to understand this.
Yeah.
So the way it works is whoever is at the villa, yes, whoever's
Hmm.
at the villa goes first when they all come back. Ariana will ask them, "Are you gonna stay with the person you're coupled up with, in Casa Amor, or do you want to be single and see if the person coming back is single as well? If so, you'll couple with them." So that kind
Hmm.
of is how it goes. So like Cordell could come back, like Serena could be standing there alone, not coupled with anybody, and Kordell could walk in with Daia, and then Serena would be single. But she would just be single. Doesn't mean she's going home right away.
Yeah,
Um, the
which is
other
good.
thing, very good. The other thing that's crazy to me is like, did y'all watch the show? I'm gonna give everybody the benefit of the doubt because sometimes people just don't watch shows that they're gonna be on. But last season, they and when they were in Casa Amor, the girls got videos of the guys in Casa Amor. Pretty much the guys who were being the. I think they all got videos of each guy. Like to kind of see a snip of what conversations or things that were happening in bedrooms. Like they saw stuff. So that's what also makes me be like, you guys are like behaving
Oh,
so
oh yeah, because
wildly.
there's going to be the movie night. I wonder how
Well,
soon.
no, they have movie night when everybody is back together in
Yeah.
one place. But while the girls are at Casa, probably about halfway through Casa or when Casa is about to be over, they
Oh,
will
they
get
show them.
videos. They will get
Oh.
like small snippets, like via text.
Oh yeah, because didn't the girl show up and she was coupled with someone because she saw Leo slept with someone?
No, yes and no. So they saw a brunette say, "We fucked." And it
Um,
was Leo, but she was like, I don't think it's Leo. I don't think it's Leo. She decided to couple up with someone instead and came back and saw Leo sitting next to this brunette. And she was like, you make me sick. You're disgusting. You're
mm,
terrible. Which is also like, it makes me think like you guys have seen, if you've watched, you've seen Leo and you've seen, what's that other guy's name? Keenan. He was a player too. Like they both, when confronted with their choices, felt like trash. So I'm like, reckoning is gonna come one way or another. One way or another, your actions will catch up to you.
it will. And like, because I could even see with Cordell, maybe him not bringing Daya, because maybe
Yeah,
he's like, I just know me and Serena have a more well-rounded connection.
yeah,
But if he's not honest about what happened, they'll
yeah.
see it at
I
movie
don't
night.
think, yeah, I don't think Serena will be upset at him making out with her. Maybe she would, but if they, because there's a clip at the end of at the end of the
Oh,
second
for a
episode.
preview for Thursday's episode.
Yeah, and she's like on top of him. I don't think they do anything, but if they cross a line, there could be no coming back.
No, Serena's gonna set fire to the villa, and I'm here
Literally,
for it. I will be
literally.
here for it.
Like, I'm torn because I really like Kordell, but I just feel like his actions, he's not being very respectful. Like,
No, it's shocking too. Because I
it
think
is.
there's a way to pursue the connection, I think, in a respectful way.
Right, like Kendall is. I feel like
Yeah,
Kendall is having conversations, but he's not like making out with them in all of these rooms and like having these intimate moments and stuff. Cause it's like,
yeah.
cause if I saw my partner, if I saw Obi do that, and then he came back and was like, I love you, I'd be like,
Do you?
but you like these people. And what's not to say that in the real world, you would see a girl who likes you at a club or something, y'all fuck around or whatever, and then you come back, you're crying, you're upset. Oh, I made a mistake. But it's like, nah, you have no self-control. Like, let's be
Yeah,
respectful.
I
So
agree.
I feel like Cordell's actions are kind of like bordering disrespectful, if not already disrespectful.
No, and we'll see Thursday if he
Yeah.
really crosses the ultimate line. But
Uh,
yeah, so that was making us sick throughout.
yep.
But
Yep.
another couple that was making us sick, Aaron and Daniela.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
Poor
I
Kaylor.
like Daniela. I think she's you're looking at me like,
I'm,
why?
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. She's
I
not as
just
bad as Daia.
she's not. To me, she doesn't seem as calculated. It
Yeah.
actually kind of seems like she's having more of a natural connection with him because they bond about speaking Spanish because she's Puerto Rican and she's
Hmm.
mentioned that and like she's spoken Spanish and then she was shocked that he also speaks Spanish because he lived in Spain for a while, which we learned in the beginning of the season. So they kind of
Yeah.
have like that cute moment. They have a moment too when they're talking where she opens up about, her mom passed when she was 10 and
Yeah.
like she always has like this guardian angel and he's like, "Oh my gosh, don't say that. I'm like falling in love with you already. Like I can't believe this." And so to me, she's making it's just I don't he's shifty. He's fucking shifty because he's shifty because
Yeah.
you would not even think he likes Kaylor because all throughout this they have
Yeah.
these talks and he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to hurt anyone." And then but he's like, "But oh well, let's make out. Let's do all these
Literally,
things."
no. I think for Aaron, we really see him like feel ambivalent. Like we see him like on the fence because he's like, I want to explore this, but I feel bad. And then like, I really like Kayla, but like Daniella is just like so like this, and she drives me crazy and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm like, she's kind of just existing, and you're driving yourself crazy because she's not as forward as Daia, who's like, oh, I would have picked you. Yeah, I like you. Oh yeah, you deserve a real woman. Like she's not doing
Yeah,
all
she's
that.
more chill with it. I think she's really pretty and like I don't know. I like her vibe. She's definitely coming back to the villa.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. And
No.
and I feel like it's worse for Aaron because he really was like basically telling Kaylor that he loved her, and
I
now he's
agree.
like
This
now he's like, ooh, Daia, I really like Daia. I really like Daia.
yeah, we give Cordell a hard time and he deserves it, but Aaron,
Deserves it more.
deserves it the most. Cause
The
yeah,
most.
and like I mean, Danielle had a little bit of a moment because they're speaking in Spanish, I think, together, and he was like, I don't want to hurt someone, and she's like, but we never know if we don't try, or something
Yeah.
like that. I think it was like the second night or one of the nights.
Which I can't blame her. She wants
I
to she wants
can't
to be picked too.
really.
I get it. I don't
I
think
get
I
it.
think Daia is diabolica.
Diabolical. Introducing to the
Diabolical.
stage, Diabolica. No, but honestly,
Diabolica. It's like a stripper name or
it
a
is.
drag name.
It is. Uh,
I don't
but
think she's as diabolical as Daia. I think that she's like she's being herself, she's exploring it, she's letting it happen. And
hmm
honestly, Aaron is kind of driving some of it too, like the
No,
physical
he
stuff at least.
is because he's like, oh yes, we will sleep in the same bed, but I will have clothes on. And she's like, well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hope so.
And he's like, and
That's
we
the
won't do
boundary.
anything too crazy. And then the next day, she's like, he tried to paint the picture like, oh, she was trying with me, but she was like, he was trying to get in my pants. And I'm like, I tend to believe her a little more.
Oh, definitely. She's like, his hands were all over me. I was like, of course it was. Of course. I
hmm
mean, we see how he is with Kaylor. Like, they progress physically pretty quick.
Literally, Kaylor, it was like left his mind.
Yeah.
And it was wild because similar to Kordell and Serena, when all this stuff is happening where he's vibing with Daniela, because it's the same like back and forth, they have conversations, they make out, it just gets more and more intense.
Mm-hmm.
It cuts to Kaylor crying constantly, like, I'm talking to all these guys, and like, I don't know, like, all I can think about is Aaron, and I just want Aaron. He's
Yeah.
my best friend, and I kissed Jalen in this game, and I just feel bad because I don't even care if he's kissing other girls. I just don't want to because I just want to be with Aaron, and ma. And I'm like, I feel so bad for you.
No,
Poor
Kaylor
Kaylor.
literally breaks my heart. The second episode, I started like how many
Not
times is
crying.
Kaylor? No, like I started counting how many
Oh,
times. The second one, I mean, I think the last one was 20, right?
yes.
That episode she only cried twice, but in
Okay.
episode 19, I think she broke into tears like four times.
Oh,
Like
she
talking to
did.
the girls about Aaron, and then she tried to hype herself up like, "Ladies, we're bad bitches. Let's have a good night in Casa
She
Amor."
did, and then immediately talked to Jalen and was like, "Yeah, I just like it's more friends because like I really miss Aaron."
No, I was like, no guy is gonna break it in there. Like these girls like their men, and it's just sad. I really feel bad for her because like day one, Aaron was like, "Ooh, I feel bad." Day two, I don't think he really started to feel bad, and he just
No.
wants to advance more and more physically with Daniela, and he's like, oh, "Daniela, she drives me crazy. Ugh,
hmm
what are you doing to me?" And just all this stuff,
She was
making
like,
out with
"This
her
is
like
no longer a
outside.
test. This is something great."
And I was like, "Oh, he said something great."
Yeah, something good or like something great. Basically, just implying like, no, like this is like an actual thing. And I get the chemistry.
I get it.
I do see it. So
I
that's
see
kind
it.
of sucks too, but he's just like I think what is bad about Aaron is like it just feels like he doesn't give a fuck about Kaylor.
Literally.
Even
Rob,
Rob, yeah, where you just Rob is
yes.
even
Rob was like, yeah, dude, explore, but like just don't do anything
be
stupid. And then like
respectful.
be respectful. And then like 10 minutes later, he is making out with her like his life depends on it in front of like everyone basically. Like it's just, and I get it. Look, it's Casa Amor. You don't have to like be shy and hold back your feelings because, whatever, pursue what you want. But like you're not being respectful at all. Especially because when Kaylor kissed someone in a game once, you were pissed. You were about to date Andrea instead. You were ready to find somebody else. You were saying once a new bombshell comes in, it's a wrap for her, right? But then
Mhm.
as soon as you have the opportunity to start making out with people and kissing other people, you do. Because I think he kisses Daniella during the game, and then they have their real kiss like the next day, I think.
Yeah. Or they might
During
have
Spin
even
the Bottle. I
yeah.
think they kiss during Spin the Bottle, and then they have a real kiss later.
It just doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. Yeah. And so I'm just like, like this is a double standard because Kaylor feels bad because she knows
hmm
you would be upset with that.
Yeah.
But where is
But
your line, Aaron? Literally a double standard.
it is two things. One, when Daniela and Aaron made out intensely by the pool, I think the second day, who was the person being like, I love Casa Amor. This is amazing? Kendall. Kendall, he's like the amp that
Literally.
just is the worst friend. He's like the sidekick that shows up and it's like, yeah, man, are you getting it? Yeah. Shut the fuck up. And then,
Um.
and then the second thing, Kendall and, or no, Kordell and Aaron. It's
Mhm.
interesting because they're the ones in these relationships, like the serious ones. Yet they're kind of the ones finding like the strongest connections and being the most disrespectful. But if we think about like the origins of their relationships with like Kaylor and Serena, the signs were kind of always there. Like Serena and Kaylor almost had like an intuition about them if you think
Mm,
about it. Because remember in
yeah.
the beginning, Kaylor was kind of like, she was into Aaron, but she was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to get like too, like, I want to explore my options. And like, he's giving me shit about my body count. He's so mad that I kissed someone. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
And then with
Mhm.
Serena and Cordell, her thing was like, I just don't, it feels rehearsed. It just doesn't feel like
Mm.
he's listening or he's
Mhm.
actually
And he
saying
wasn't.
anything. And he wasn't. So,
He wasn't listening. And then like, yeah, no, you're right. They both were iffy about these guys.
which maybe is what's making them hurt more. Because they're like,
Mm.
we knew, but we still gave him a chance and opened up.
Oh.
And now I feel like they're having this sixth sense of like, I feel like they're doing us dirty, but they
Yeah.
maybe don't want to say it. And they are doing them the most dirty. It was funny, I
Yep.
saw on Twitter because there was that point where Cordell and Aaron were talking, I think the second day and bonding about how like they're both trash. And somebody was like, they took a picture of that scene and they're just like, these people, this is when they realized they lost the game. Like they're not winning Love Island
Yeah.
anymore. Because we had thought
Uh,
Kaylor and Aaron might be winning.
yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You're right, Brendan, though. I agree with you. And I think that's why they're crying because they both, I think, have this feeling like they are fucking me over right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that they're faithful, but I'm almost certain that they're not.
No.
Like, because you wouldn't, and I guess you wouldn't cry if you had that much confidence in somebody, right? But they're both like in tears because they're like, dang, I didn't follow my intuition. This goes to
Mm-hmm.
show, fam, we gotta follow our intuition. Our gut is usually right. And
It is.
usually, when you don't listen to your gut, it feels good for a little bit. And then it comes crashing in your face. And you're
It
depressed
does, and
eating
it'll
ice cream.
hit you in a big way. And then months later, you're like, why didn't I listen to myself 6 months ago when I knew
Yeah.
this person was like this? You
I
know?
was yeah, I would say for Kaylor, she definitely had more reasons not to go all in with Aaron. But I feel like Serena
Yeah.
um Kordell's actions spoke very loudly. Like, oh, he's genuine. Oh, he's patient. Oh, he
Yeah.
cares about me. Oh, he's like, thinking about me. Like,
Hmm.
that's why I'm most surprised by Kordell. I was like,
Yeah.
Aaron, I kind of have a feeling you're about to go buck wild because when Andrea came in, Aaron was so happy. He wanted to make out
He
with her. He did.
was.
Did he tell Kaylor that he made out with her?
I think he did, because remember he was also shady. He was like, she's better than you in the sense that
Oh
she doesn't
yeah.
get so emotional or something like
Oh,
that.
he's such a dick.
I hate
Yeah, no,
him.
even that is also a sign. Like, Kaylor, this guy was low key like saying that you weren't good enough.
He
Like,
was. Like,
so like and then like him advancing, like he's a very sexual person. So he's like, ooh, this girl's feeling me. She wants to have sex with me, or she wants to do sexual things with me. I'm here for it.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's a mess. Those
it's really a
were,
mess.
those are like the really strong couples. The other couples are kind of like,
It's kind of like
Lu
meh.
yeah, like you have Kendall and Sierra that's kind of forming something.
No, Kendall talked to somebody else, Catherine.
He did, but
Oh,
then it
well, he
was
slept with Catherine,
he slept
and
with
then he was talking
Catherine.
to Serena or Sierra. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And Sierra, beautiful girl, but I can't stand hearing her speak. It's just like it's
Sierra?
all yeah, it's just something about she's like,
Really?
yeah, I just love it. And I'm like, fuck it. And then da 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 da. And I'm just like, what are you saying? Like,
Really? I
stop.
didn't get that from her.
She's beautiful though, so don't get me wrong. I like you. I'm sure you're nice, Sierra, but it's just
I was
like
gonna say maybe I was distracted by Sierra. I
maybe
actually didn't even think that she was that pretty.
I thought she was, but
I don't know. Like I think the bombshells are beautiful on paper, but not enough to maybe I'm just not into women that much, but not
maybe.
in not enough for me to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to change my life and all of my behaviors for this girl." Like they were just like pretty. Like, "Oh, you're
They were
cute."
pretty. Well, yeah, it's hard because it's just like, it's a short amount of time. It's very much like all these sexual games. It's pushing more the sexual side than it is the actually getting to know each other. I think maybe
Yeah.
that's why I'm kind of liking Daniela, because I feel like we're getting a more like well-rounded story with her.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I'm like, whereas like Daia just seems like she had an agenda.
Yeah.
They didn't really show Catherine. Redbox Sydney Sweeney was barely there, which I appreciated. And then who are the other girls even? Sierra they showed because she kind of had a thing with Miguel, but it was more just like they like made out. Like he was like smitten with her because she was so
I
pretty.
thought like Sierra was locked in. I thought Miguel was like locked in on Sierra because well, did you want to finish talking about Kendall and then we can go to Miguel? I mean,
Sure.
there's really not much for Kendall.
Yeah, Kendall was just like they kind of like talked about like I forget what they even talked about, like something real life stuff, I
Yeah.
guess. And then he was just like, "Oh yeah, I could if there was I'm set on Nicole, but if there was someone that could potentially, it would be Sierra."
Sierra.
And
And I
it's
think
like,
he told I don't know who he told this. And then Catherine, oh, go ahead.
"Oh no, I did he tell Daniela? Because I know Daniela
He did tell
told
Daniela. Yes.
her, but I didn't
Yes.
know if it was like a telephone or if it was like he
Yeah.
actually told her."
Yeah, and he
Um,
shared a bed with Catherine, but in the morning, Catherine's like, Kendall's like, kind of to himself. I'm gonna try to talk to him more today. But that was pretty much it. Kendall seemed like pretty tame for all of the
he
hyping up he's
did.
doing. He's just chilling.
Yeah, and it
And
was
then
like a respectful conversation with Sierra. It was nothing like he was
yeah.
disrespecting anyone, which is good.
For as much as he hypes up disrespect, he's being pretty respectful to Nicole. He says like a couple times, like, like I have something good going. I'm not closed off, but like I do really
Hmm.
care about Nicole. And then like on the other side, Nicole kind of hits it off with Kane, which
Oh,
is
yes.
weird to me.
It was, but she also ends up saying it's just friendship.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like it kind of like goes nowhere. None of the girls, the only girl I noted like in the villa that was really having maybe a connection was like Leah with Ignacio.
Yeah, and Janae a little bit too.
Janae a little bit because she was kind of going back and forth with Josiah and Jacobi, but they're both lame. And I thought Ignacio was lame.
We gotta talk about those two.
I'm like, Like, I
Like,
don't know. Leah and Ignacio were kind of cute. Just
yeah,
quick,
I liked them.
they were cute. They had a back and forth. It was cute because he was like, I have my broken English, so I can't really say certain words. And she's like, oh, my family speaks Farsi, so I'm very like accustomed to broken English. And I'm like,
I
it
thought it
was a
was cute.
cute, but she even is just like, oh, I'm thinking about Miguel. But she's also
Yeah.
realistic. She's like, I know he's doing like bad shit over there. So like, what the
And
fuck?
she's not crying about it. She's accepting it, but
No,
the
she's like, it
reality
is
like
what it
hurts a
is.
little bit. Yeah, they share a bed together. He says like the next day it's not that physical, but he like wants to get to know her more.
Yeah.
I think they make out a few, maybe once or twice. But yeah, I think it's just cute with Ignacio. And I kind of like him. I like his style. He's very like nice. He's very like chill. He talks about the boop thing, which I think is really funny.
Oh,
They kind of
yes, that
like
was funny. She was like, you
they,
saw that?
and I'm like, dang, they really be watching the whole episodes then, I
No,
guess.
they
Not even the clip
do.
notes.
Hmm.
So I thought that was funny.
That was.
But yeah, she seems to like him, but is still thinking about Miguel a little bit.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Miguel is obsessed with Sierra.
he
Obsessed with
is.
Sierra.
They make out, but then it kind of fizzles, or they just don't really show it. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't think they
think,
show them like the second day.
yeah, I don't think, based off the looks of it, I don't think Miguel's gonna bring someone.
Really?
Because,
Oh
well,
yeah, he is.
who?
He's gonna bring Sierra if she lets him, or someone else.
I guess if
Miguel
they,
is coming home with the girl.
I guess, but I guess he might pick Sierra. But because I could see him being like, well, I know I have Leah and I had my fun here. I could see it either way with him. Kendall, I don't know if he'll end up picking Sierra because that's kind of
No,
a
I don't think
lot
so. That
to
is kind
like,
of a lot.
and I don't think he's feeling her like that
Right,
yet,
because he
at
didn't even
least.
tell her directly. Like, I was like, why are you telling Daniella that you want to get to know Sierra? Like, why don't you just go talk to Sierra? Or
Yeah,
are you trying to be respectful of Miguel? Him and Miguel, like, are constantly picking the same women.
they are.
But Miguel was telling Sierra his first chat, like, you are gorgeous, you are stunning, you are beautiful, your body, oh, everything, I love it. And then he was like, you're checking a lot of boxes, checking a lot of boxes. And then they make out pretty early on. And she seems fine with it.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's a lot of sexual chemistry there. But it
yes,
feels like equal from both sides.
it does. But you had mentioned you want to talk about Janae with Jacobi and Josiah.
Yes. So
Get Josiah the fuck out of here. I can't stand him.
Josiah.
Yes.
Fuck. Okay, Josiah's the Spanish looking guy, right?
He's the one who said he
Yes.
had two girlfriends.
Listen. I was like, not Josiah speaking in code. He was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I liked he said, oh, fuck, I gotta find it. Hold on. I have to find it because I'm like, okay, um
It was a lot to
wait,
reveal
I
on
can't
night
find
one.
it.
He said
Yes.
he was just like, I had two girlfriends. And she was like, what do you mean two girlfriends? And she was like, I was dating two girls at the same time. And she's like, did they know? And he was like, no. And she's like, what the fuck?
He said I was in a relationship with two people. And she
Yes.
goes, were you in an open relationship? And he's like, nah. And I'm like, so you're a cheater. Just say that. Just say
Yes.
that, Josiah. And I was like, Jeanette, you better run. And in the thing, she was like, I don't know if I'm gonna give this guy the time of day. I'm gonna talk to him, but I'm not gonna like.
She's like, that's a
She's
big
like,
red
that's a
flag.
huge red flag. And I was like, yes, girl, I'm glad we see it. Like, why
That's
is
why
he
I'm like,
even
get
here?
Josiah out of here. I'm like, no, like nothing he's
Mm-mm.
saying is real. And like, I can't. I don't trust him. And
Yeah.
Jacoby seems nice, but I don't know.
Well, okay, so Jacobi really likes Janae.
He
She
does.
thinks she's mature and she says she thinks long term and he's like, "Wow, I've never met somebody who does that." And they both like kind of bond over I guess being mature and like responsible planners. He's like he doesn't find women who does that, so he really likes it. She says he's her type. She says it's her best conversation so far in this whole villa and she tells him that.
Yeah, she cracked me up a little bit because she sometimes I feel like Janae just be saying shit. She's like, I'm not like the other girls. Like, I'm just so different because I'm always thinking about like the future and I'm always thinking about this. And like, no girl thinks like that. Like, we're rare. And I'm like, "Oh, shut up."
Yeah, no, she definitely the way she talks about herself is funny. Also, sometimes she just like shoots the shit. Like she was talking to Josiah and she was like, "Oh, your name starts with J. I've always wanted to have kids whose name starts with J and marry someone whose name starts with J." I think she said she had a dream she married someone that
Yeah.
started with J.
And she's
And then
like
she wanted to
Josiah.
yeah, and then she said she wanted to live in a J house, and I was like, "What does that mean? What are you talking
She's a
about?"
yapper. And you know what? We
She is a
appreciate that about you,
yapper.
Janae.
I love her. She is a yapper.
She
So
is.
I think Janae and Jacobi, we might see them progress a little bit later. Josiah does ask her if they can sleep in the same bed, and she says yes.
Hmm.
And then like I think the next day the girls are like, "Ooh, Janae, we see you." But Janae is
Yeah.
like the only person connecting with a new person.
She
Or one of
is,
the
and
boys.
even that it's like respectful. Like it's just like
Very.
conversation and like her and Jacoby, I think, yeah, he's like feeling her the next day. I think he makes her breakfast. They have
Mhm.
this weird segment where he's like, I'm gonna teach you all. I think it was Ignacio. He was like,
Ignacio
uh,
was
uh,
teaching them how to make avocado toast.
yes, and it was just like you cut the avocado, then you squeeze it on the toast. And it's like,
I
okay.
think he was trying to show them how to like precisely like slice it and stuff, but I was
Let me
like,
tell
I
y'all
thought he was gonna
something.
be making something and like seasonings, lemon juice, none of it.
Also, avocado has no flavor. You can't be cutting it just like that and putting it on all chunky. You gotta mush it up with seasonings and lemon juice. Like, you gotta judge it up. Like, what are we?
Hmm
I'm over this. I can't with this avocado toast. That sucks.
This girl on TikTok made a list of reasons why she wouldn't go on Love Island. And the first one was like, I hate avocados. And then the next one is like no catered dinner. And then I think another one was like we only eat breakfast. And then
They
another
literally
one
only
kind
eat
of
breakfast. It's
and then
like
there was another reason was I'm not kissing six men and then kissing technically the people they just kissed. Some of these games are really
they
sloppy. I don't
kiss
like
each other and
spit.
then eat eggs. It's just,
Uh...
what is this? It's too
and then
much.
sleep together.
Yes, I
It's
can't.
so funny. But that was pretty much everybody. Liv isn't I didn't see her really talking to anybody.
No, and then I think there's a guy, George, we don't really see much of.
I don't see much of George.
Rob kind of makes a connection with someone whose name I'm forgetting, but she's very pretty and she seems very nice. They like make out.
Destiny. Because
Destiny.
the I only remember because the producer joked about it being Destiny.
Oh yes. She seems nice. She's pretty. It doesn't
Yeah.
like it seems like they're kind of into each other, but it's nothing crazy. Like
Yeah.
this is wild where Rob's single, yet he's being so much more respectful than a lot of the other guys, like Kordell and Aaron. Like it's who
Yeah.
would have thought?
I hate to say it, but I feel like kind of I thought that after Andrea, Rob would quickly find somebody else to just like be super connected with, and he hasn't. And I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't know if he's thinking of Andrea. He's definitely not saying that, or if he's just not finding anybody. But yeah, Rob is being very tame. So is Kenny. Kenny was like, "Oh, I like the girl from the Philippines, or whose parents are from the Philippines. I can't remember who that is,
Yeah.
but
And
we don't really see much of them."
we don't. And then it's just like the main ones were the ones we went in depth about because everything else is just kind of meh. They do that game
Yeah.
where it's like the villa versus the casa, and
Yeah.
it's just like a lot of just like making out. It's
Bro.
like an orgy at one point. They're like make out with pick someone and make out like it's the last night on Earth. And it's just like a
Yeah.
weird orgy that I didn't, it was just uncomfortable. I was like, I don't like this is too much. It's just too
It
much.
is. It's a little too, but I've never thought that of it. I mean, the games are technically too much in essence, but I haven't watched one and been like, "Oh my gosh, stop." Until I
Yeah,
saw that one. I was like, "This is just gross."
it is. It's just too
Do
much.
you want to debrief that game? I
We
can't remember even
can.
what it's called. I do think there are a couple highlights.
All right. What were your
Runaway
highlights?
Raunchy Races.
Oh, yes.
So both houses are like, we're gonna win, yeah. So they basically have to do things in the raunchiest way possible.
Yeah. And
Um,
they get a text of who wins each round.
yes, yes. So basically, the big brother is watching and rating their raunchiness.
Yeah.
It was like show the the shortest guy and girl show your best sex positions. So
That was Kordell
Kordell,
and Daia.
mm-hmm,
Mm,
and I think it was Serena and Jalen. The Casa got the
hmm.
point.
They did.
Then it was kiss someone born in another country. Kane kisses Liv. He was like all over her. It was funny. Leah was like, they were in the mulch. It was rough. I was like, this is kind of funny at first.
Yeah.
And then Daniella kisses Aaron, and he picks her up and takes her to the shower to kiss her.
Yes. And
And
then
they
they
didn't even
kiss
turn the
even
water
after
on.
that.
They
Yeah.
do. They like kiss and he like puts her up against the wall and kisses her in the shower. And all of
Hmm.
everybody's like cheering for them. And then when everybody leaves, they keep making out. And I'm just like, you guys seem to like this, but it's just like kind of a lot. And I was like, you didn't even turn the water on. Like, who cares?
They couldn't get the
Um,
clothes wet.
I guess. The Villa won that one.
They did.
Um, and I felt bad because you see Kaylor's commentary and she's like from another country. That might be Aaron, but it could be Miguel too. The girls were like, "No, Miguel would do it first." Miguel Nah, man. Aaron was like, "Me, I'm from another
He
country."
was. He was like, oh, Daniela. Yes. And it's like, ugh,
Oh
no.
my
They
gosh.
really, because what was it? Someone else was trying to tell Kaylor, like, no, Aaron would never.
No, all of the girls are reassuring Kaylor that she is fine. No, Aaron would never. No, he loves you so much.
No,
Same with Kordell.
Aaron, like the girls are gonna rain fire on Aaron. Because
Oh
even if the
yeah.
guys try to cover up for him and maybe not like go into too much detail, they're gonna see it at movie night.
Yeah, and it's like,
He's done.
oh, he's done. Yeah, he's definitely done. And I mean, even if the guys try to defend him, it's like, okay, Aaron, you're not even going to be honest. Okay, well, America will vote you last and you guys might go home. Like, one way or another, you're going to feel the repercussions of
That's
this.
the thing because they forget because they're like, oh, Friendship Island, like da 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 da. If you're not likable and if you do people dirty, like there's a reason why Rob was in the bottom twice so far in America's vote. Like,
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
y'all are upstaging Rob in doing dirty. Like,
Yeah.
it's too much. But you know.
It's crazy. They do bench press a blonde. Sydney, they
Hmm.
bench press Sydney and Casa, Kaylor in the villa. Casa gets the point. They say
Hmm.
kiss the one with the best tattoos. Cordell's like, that's me. And Miguel is just standing there like looking at his tattoos and he's like, okay. Like it's really like yes, kiss the one with the best tattoos and also the one that volunteers first.
I know, right?
Um he
Um,
kisses Daia, I'm pretty sure.
it was Sydney kisses Cordell and then
Oh,
Josiah kisses Leah. I didn't
yeah.
notice Leah, or maybe Leah picked him. I didn't notice if they had tattoos, but they probably did. But Casa won that round.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna pick I thought Villa was gonna pick Kane because he has a lot of tattoos, but I guess not
He
the best.
does. Mhm.
Notes. Cordell takes Sydney to the bed to make out with her. Like he runs with her to a bedroom to make out with her.
Yeah, that was a
And
lot.
then Leah tells Josiah, put me on the floor, bitch.
I love Leah. I don't care. I love Leah.
I was like, not you calling him a bitch. And he just kept rocking with it. He was like, all right. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am. Kiss who you want to share a bed with that you didn't before. Janae kisses Jacobi
she
on the
did.
count. They go over to the counter and they start making out. Sydney kisses Kendall on the sign, I guess, which just looks stupid to me.
Mine auto-corrected Cindy to Sunday. I'm like, who's Sunday? Mine- but those
um,
were the only too few times we saw Sydney also.
yeah, we only saw her during the game, thank God.
I
Oh my
know.
gosh. Love Island, please keep Sydney off of our TVs. I'm sure she's a nice girl. I just think she's a little annoying and she gives very much pick me energy and I just don't have time. I don't have time.
She's just that girl that's just loud for no reason. Like when she came
She's
in, she was like, "My kitty is purring." And I'm like, "Well, tell it to stop."
I was like,
And
Sydney, please never speak again.
right. And then is the last one or the second to last one, it's like pick someone you're the most attracted to. And
Yeah,
then
so
Kaylor picks Jalen.
she does. And I was like, you're the most attracted to him? Okay. Okay, I was just
I think because
curious.
she kissed him before, so she's like, I'll keep it consistent.
That makes sense. And then Aaron kisses Sierra. He's like, let me switch it up. And he just
Yeah,
grabs Sierra and kisses her. It would be cool to see Aaron like be messy in Casa so that the girls hate him and maybe he ruins his chances there and he ruins himself in the villa.
that would be, but his connection with Daniella, it
But
seems to be
early on,
legit.
he did. You're right. But early on, he did say that he liked Daniela and Sierra, so I'm sure
Yeah.
he was excited for the opportunity to kiss her.
Hmm.
And then it was like kiss someone like your life to like the world is ending tomorrow, so they all pick someone to kiss. And ultimately, Casa wins this game, and I'm like, yeah, you guys are feral animals. And all the
Right.
Villa girls are like, what are they doing over there? And I'm like, if only you knew. Hopefully,
If
you
you
never find
only
out.
knew. Yeah. And then it just ends. The pep talk, Kaylor, we talked about earlier. She's giving it the girls, and then she shortly cries after about
Yeah.
Aaron. And then Aaron talking about he likes Daniela. And this is where the Barbie song starts to play. And I
Oh
died.
my gosh. The Billie Eilish one?
Yes. Where does it end? All the enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's just it really is. It's like these men are going to hell. They're
No,
going to
they really
hell.
are. Aaron is like talking and he's like, wow, the game was like so spicy. It
It
was
was
so
my
much
favorite
fun. The most
part.
fun, my favorite part by far in all of Love Island was that. And I was like, it was. And then like they're talking and they make out some more. And he's like, he loves her personality, her looks. He's like, I'm exploring because Kaylor is too. And I want to take my time with this. And then Kaylor's like, Aaron is my best friend and I just miss him. Oh my gosh, baby girl.
I'm like, oh God,
Just
this
so
is
you know,
gonna.
the world is on your side.
We are, Kaylor. I've talked shit about you before because you're annoying, but like again, I'm protective over my OGs, and I've always liked you more than Aaron. Well,
Oh yeah.
Aaron,
No,
there
you
was a
hated Kaylor at
moment.
first. Don't lie.
No, I know, because Aaron won me over with the plant conversation, but then he was slowly
That's
losing
true.
me with the Andrea vote.
This is funny because when you told me about the plant thing, I was like, you like Aaron? And you're like, yeah, because of the plants. And I was like, I guess. But I did not like him. And then like after you kind of pointed those things out, I was like, okay, maybe Aaron's not so bad. But his moves in the beginning I didn't like.
No. And I don't want to
Oh
hear
my
any of these
gosh.
guys try to give Leah shit about anything with like Connor or like shit like that. And I don't want to hear anything about the worst thing Serena did was she left him hanging in a dance challenge.
And then they talked about it and quickly made up. So it wasn't
Yes.
that deep anyway. It
And
wasn't
she went on a date with Nigel and did not kiss him out of respect
at
for
all.
Kordell. So I'm
It's
sorry. What he's doing now trumps it all.
it's not even the tit for tat. It's like you guys, you, Cordell and Aaron have the deepest relationships and you're literally acting like animals and you're being completely disrespectful to the girls who express real feelings for you and they're going to see this. You're
Mm-hmm.
embarrassing them. You're making them feel stupid. Like
Yeah.
you are not protecting them or considering them
Mm-mm.
at all. Like all Leah, Connor, all that stuff aside, it's not like she was in a committed thing with someone and they were being exclusive. That's what the guys like to say when they come back from Casa. Like last season, he's like, we're not exclusively dating. You're not my girlfriend. So it's okay. And it's like, nah, you knew that there was someone back here caring for you. The least you could do, because you know that you have a choice. You really like this girl, bring her back, break things off with Kaylor, explain it to her, and then move
Mm.
on. But the way that you're doing it is super messy. The girls are gonna see it. They're already brokenhearted, and you're a piece of trash. Like, let's just keep it a buck. You won Traitors, Aaron, but you're not gonna win Love Island.
You may have been a faithful when you won Traders, but you're still a traitor. Guess you didn't cheat, but you're still a traitor. Ooh. Shout out to you, Olivia Rodrigo.
You're
Um,
so funny. Notable mentions. The boys, the Casa boys, when they're first getting ready, are like, "Yo, Aaron was crying over Rob. Wait till like, I wonder what he's gonna do crying over Kaylor if one of you snatch her up." And I was like, "That's funny. Too bad it won't happen."
it won't, but good on you for trying.
I thought that was funny. The fireworks from Casa was hella shady. I felt so
Hmm.
bad. And then the boys were really acting like wild animals, like screaming over the ledge, like Casa. Like, yo,
Yeah.
what did y'all drink today? Oh my
I don't
gosh. I don't
know.
think
That
you
was
get that much
wild.
alcohol.
One change of scenery and some new girls, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, how do I
I feel
act?"
like I feel like Rob was the only one level-headed, probably because he was in Casa last time. Like the girls
Yeah.
met Rob at Casa.
Oh yeah.
Last time the girls went to Casa instead of the boys.
And he always
So
seems like
Rob
he's
was
running
there.
on E anyway, so it's just like he doesn't have the
Rob's like,
most
I'm just
energy.
here for the paycheck.
I'm thinking about eels
Hopefully
in
I'm gonna buy a snake after this.
my overalls, but
Yeah, that's pretty much it,
yeah.
man. These boys have disappointed me. I'm
Yeah,
upset.
I'm same. It's just it's a lot. Like I didn't think it would go left this quick, but alas, Casa
It
Amor.
has.
And in the preview for next time, it seems like Kordell and Daia may be having sex, and Daniella and Aaron are only getting stronger. So
Yeah. The only thing I hope for is for the guys to not cross that sexual line. Like actually having sex would be insane. But
it would
honestly, like
be.
what you've done so far is kind of crazy anyway. And then I do though hope that Liv finds somebody. That's like
Yeah,
really the only person Casa really helps is like Liv and I guess Miguel because he's so feral.
yeah.
Maybe Kenny and Janae. Like I hope that they find people. But I want this to end as quickly as possible. And I
I
wonder if the
know.
next episode is when they will get videos.
I
If they get
hope.
videos.
Yeah, because I would imagine because the next episodes we're gonna cover, it's gonna be 21, 22, 23. And then so I would imagine 22, because it's Fridays, would probably be when they like show back up and like reunite.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna show. Yeah, I hope they reunite by maybe Sunday's episodes tend to be like the well, never mind. I don't know. But yeah, by the end of the week, we should see
They should,
somebody.
because Friday's typically the recoupling.
Yeah, usually right before after
So
Sun.
yeah, so I would imagine it's that because it's technically a recoupling-ish, but no one goes home
Yeah.
except for I guess the people from Casa Amor that weren't chosen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Friday you're right because Thursday they can show 2 more days in
Hmm.
Casa. Friday they can show like the last half of the day and then the recoupling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's
hopefully.
gonna be
Oh, I
juicy.
low-key just want it to end.
No, I
Make
don't like
Casa
the
go away.
separation. I was like, no, I gotta see the aftermath. I have to see
Yeah.
Serena tweak out on Kordell. I have to see Kaylor just make Aaron feel bad. Like, I
Yeah.
want to see how Daniella reacts coming to the villa and maybe
Yep.
hearing from the girls that how strong Aaron and Kaylor were. Maybe it'll be eye-opening that if Aaron can do it to Kaylor, he can do it to you.
Yeah, girl, like
Yeah.
y'all want yeah, I know they're not in relationships, but like that's not a good sign
No.
that your man will just jump to the next person that's giving them attention and giving them eyes and has some like sexual chemistry.
Yeah.
And like I don't think that Daniela saw the love conversation. So like she probably doesn't know that. And I'm sure that
No.
Aaron isn't mentioning it.
No. And then, I mean, when Daya shows up, I'm sure she'll be like, well, yeah, I'm just treating Cordell this way because I like him. And they're going to be like,
Girl,
uh.
Daya might be, or yeah, she might be the first girl that the girls don't like,
I
and I
know,
wouldn't
because
be too
usually they
upset about
like
it.
the girls, but. Daia
Not
may,
this one.
we'll see.
Because she's really coming up with like, oh, I'm better, and I'm like, no, that's not the move. Anytime, that's not the move. Like, you want someone to like you for you, to have to advertise yourself as a better version of somebody else. That's not. I
Yeah,
don't know. She's working too hard, but hey,
she is.
I low key can't blame her. She's trying to stay on TV. I get it.
She is, you know, to an extent, understand, but don't like it.
Not at all. Not one
Don't
bit.
respect it. Diabolical, diabolical. Um,
Diabolical,
but
diabolical.
with all of that, that's it for these messy Casa Amor episodes. We'll be back next
That's
time
how.
to hopefully close out Casa Amor and get through all
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yep,
But this show, roller coaster of emotions.
definitely.
In the meantime, though, y'all should rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We got a couple reviews that are funny. And give us 5 stars. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at the Shade of It All podcast. Still posting fun clips on TikTok. If you want to see our beautiful faces, speak about the episodes instead of just listening, you can follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Shade of It All podcast. And yeah, we'll be back next time to discuss the next few episodes. Bye.